Folks, we're here. We're back. Let me listen. So I have a limiter on my mic, so it might not be too loud, but if like the gain is turned up too high, the audio quality is gonna be like total ass. So 600 viewers and only 8 likes. True. So fucking true. You make a very good point. It's a very accurate point. I actually happen to agree with that one. What's up, everybody? So, let me. How's it going, people? Jump scare, jump scare. What's up? What's up? What's up? You should just not talk. Yeah, I should just spend the whole stream just like sitting here doing nothing. I agree. You make. That's very true. What's up with that? What's up with what? Chronic told me he was Huh? $5 from G's G's. Gonna sleep, but yo, Aiden. What's up, G's G's? Yeah, guys, I know I've been the lives have been shorter, infrequent. The truth of the matter is, from school and shit, I'm just like pretty fucking burnt out right now. But when summer comes, I'm going to be on the grind, okay? On the fucking grind. Why you been ducking my calls? Don't you have a family? It's 2 in the morning and you're on Discord playing with yourself. It's Mother's Day tomorrow. Well, my mom doesn't live in the same state as me, so you sent a clear at the beginning? He's just lying to your I can't make promises anymore. Your yeah, my social battery. It's not my social battery. It's I'm just very fucking tired. I can't tell if your voice actually sounds different if it's just been that long. I actually had vocal cord surgery. Dumpy wants love. I spoke to Dumpy the other day. We spoke for like 2 hours. We had a very good talk. Dumpy's an OG. Dumpy's a very good friend of mine. We like Dumpy around here. I work tomorrow. I'm scared. Well, for those of you that are mothers, and if you're a female in my chat, chances are you probably are not. But if you do have kids, happy Mother's Day. For those of you that have mothers, happy Mother's Day. Do your Mama Max voice? It'd be too cringe. It would be just too cringe. Imagine having a son that wouldn't travel across the country for a day. I have traveled across the country. What about a mom that will travel across the country for her son? Huh? Huh? You watching this, Ma? She fucking tells me all the time to go to. Why don't you fly home for the weekend? It's like, yeah, let me just like fly home for like a day. Yeah, makes sense. Makes perfect sense. Yeah, the Leviathans are coming. All right. Well, let's get into the content. Bad son alert? I'm a great son. What are you talking about? DSP's mom is dying and he won't see her. I really, any of like the popular lolcows, I just couldn't, like, I don't know where to begin with them. I don't care about them because like to find out, you know, the meme, the context to the context, that meme is like real when it comes to people like DSP, Chris Chan, Wings of Redemption. I'm never going to go through the effort of like figuring out what it is they actually did to be so fucking hated, because I figured one thing out and it's like, no. You have to go back. You're watching stream number 524. 523 contextualizes this, and 523 is related to stream 259. And it's like, what? I can't. I'm not putting this much effort into like learning about these people. Sorry. Did you watch The Accountant too? I haven't been to the movies in a very long time. All right. I showed my partner Andy Ditch. He was speechless.
Victims or in most cases even the perpetrators. I don't want to get that involved, right? So the reading that
so for those of you that don't know, yesterday we left off with Queeman talking to Achito about me. Then Morale calls in, and then this is when Achito's over.
He was upset, and he was saying that
or not Achito, when Morale's over, Morale leaves.
Boss, and we kind of went on like that. And then since then, basically he went on the next few months to it went from having like actual criticism of me to just like,
What else is there? There's nothing else for me to cover. There genuinely is nothing else for me to cover. I mean, what, like, if I look, let me look in topic suggestions. It's like, actually, there is something else for me to cover. Okay, actually, I think we're gonna start with this.
Recently,
The truth about, no, we're starting with this. Jalen made a video on Liam Donovan. 13,000 subs, 60 views. What the fuck? Forest Cat is the first one of the replies. Okay, we're actually gonna start with this. Forget about whatever the fuck we were just watching.
the YouTuber Liam Donovan has been popping off with his music reviews and his live streams. However, his past has come back to haunt him, as he used to go under the name of Florix, where he made much edgier content. And Rose Malay made this video kind of talking about some of the things that Lorix had said in his past, and also claimed that he had basically stolen his channel from someone else. This whole drama has caused people from Liam's past community to come out and criticize him for changing up his content, and
Queeman's been pretty like charitable. Queeman's been pretty charitable to Lorix. Actually, I think he's only been charitable like just to spite me. I had a very long conversation the other night with Liam about some of the stuff I've said about his content. And I think we spoke for like 2 hours, and actually I came out with a bit of better insight into what he's trying to go for here. I don't feel like he's like totally honest about certain aspects of it. But he learned empathy in 3 months. True. So fucking true.
personally, I think this drama is really
Leak it. I didn't record the call.
stupid, and I really think it boils down to people being jealous of his success. Anyway, if you enjoy this video,
People are jealous of his. I mean, I think that is the case for Rose Malay specifically. Rose Malay is like 150% like jealous of his success. Like that's verifiable. For the other people, I don't think that's the case. But the other people, besides like the schizos, like aren't like super hard critics of this. I can relate about the one tweet thing. Man really thought I wanted him because of one tweet. Never said anything sexual. Oh, this is like, is this person ever gonna like stop coping? Is this person like ever gonna fucking stop coping about this?
be sure to hit that like button.
By the way, this Forest Cat person, like, has a type, right? I'm more than convinced that Forest Cat was into lyrics, because now Forest Cat is like simping over a new streamer. Maybe this is just like a coincidence, but it's like blonde hair, blue eyes, like that just seems like Forest Cat's like type.
Down below and click that notification bell if you want to be able
Does
to
Aiden know what the tweet was? Yeah, because Lyrics has like controversy for liking Lolicon or whatever in his past, and Forest Cat made a tweet saying when you're your favorite streamer's fetish, and it was like a picture of Forest Cat edited to look kind of like a lolly or whatever the fuck, and it was like so bizarre.
watch this content live. I do want to talk about this because I feel like I should talk about my arch nemesis, Liam Donovan, aka Lorix. Now, I don't know if my stance on this is going to be surprising.
Listen, I'm gonna give I was just about to give Jalen some credit, and now I can't, dude. What is that? What? I mean, okay, it's better than a Cheeto. At least there was like an attempt to make the bed. But, like, that's such a half-assed, like, this is the most half-assed, like, made bed I've ever seen. Like, this is, like, how do you, like, at this point, you might as well just not make the bed. Like, at this point, like, you might as well just not even fucking make it. Because this is, like, it's sad that you actually tried to make it. Like, you actually made an effort, and this was, like, your end result. That's, like, actually really fucking sad.
Or not, because I've been out of this commentary community for the longest time, and I hate the commentary community. I hate what it's turned into. They're all just contrarians. They hate people who are successful. They're very jealous and bitter. It's not much of a community. It's extremely toxic. And Lorix, who was a big part of that.
But I like that. I like that. I like. Listen, folks. people have always, I'm skinwalking Nietzsche here. People have always framed envy as though it's a bad thing. I think envy is good. I think envy is good because it inspires people to wish they were in a better position. It inspires people to like to look at somebody and be like, fuck this guy, he is a better off than me. I think that's good. I think that's healthy.
Community, might I add. Kind of an asshole, might I add, from personal experience. He got out. He got out of the cult. He freed himself. He's now woke. He's gone woke, and they're saying he's gone broke. So Lyrix rebranded as Liam Donovan, and he's been making these like music commentary videos. And as you can see, guy's been popping off. Like this is awesome. Okay, he was able to escape the commentary genre, able to do something that I'm guessing he enjoys far more than the commentary slop and the whole like toxicity of that community. And yeah, he's been blown up the last couple months, and people from the commentary community have not been happy. The only thing he's done is just made a new channel and make different content.
But once again, the problem is, and I would agree actually, a lot of people are probably like pretty mad that he's not going to be edgy anymore. Okay, but that's like not the only criticism. The criticism is how it like happened overnight, and it's very like inauthentic the way he like went about discussing it, right? I totally believe he's doing this because he's genuinely interested, right? I totally believe this is, you know, his passion. And I don't blame him for going down this route. The problem people have is they feel like there's like a level of inauthenticity to it. But even then, like, if you want to like be inauthentic to get like a fan base doing what you love, like, I don't really care that much. Like, I can't pretend to care that much, to be honest. I wouldn't do it, but I can't really fault him that much.
Content, and these people are going after him like crazy. Like you have this guy Chud Logic over here saying that Lyrix is hiding his pass, calling him a it's like, where the fuck were you like a year ago?
Dude, and Chud put Liam Donovan in the title, so anyone who goes and searches up the name of his new channel, this is gonna be like one of the like top results, dude. That's like, he did him dirty as fuck.
When Lyrix was blowing up in the commentary community, like if you thought this guy was some kind of pedophile, why weren't you talking about it then? I hate this guy, by the way.
He doesn't. Chud does provocative titles. Chud obviously, and Chud doesn't even do his own titles. It's DK that does the titles. What are you talking about? Wait, what?
This guy is one of the most like bitter.
I don't think he actually thinks Lyrix is a pedophile, right?
Awful pieces of shit that I've ever come into contact with. Like these people, they're all just bitter. They're all just jealous. And
okay, so there's obviously some personal animosity towards Chud. Okay, a lot of the problem I have is like, if you don't like Chud because of the way he goes about like covering trans people, just say that, right? Just say that. But like a lot of them like disguise I feel like a lot of people like disguise the reason they don't like him. Like Jalen, I would venture to guess one of the driving factors of why Jalen doesn't like this guy is because of his trans coverage.
And I'm just gonna say, like, good on Lyrix for getting out of that toxic hellhole, dude. Like, this guy is like 40 years old, is a grown-ass man, should have a wife and kids.
A lot of these trans people hate Chud. It's so, I mean, it's not bizarre, right? If I don't know, if I was like black or something and somebody like half of their content was like making fun of black people or something, sure, I'd probably have like animosity towards that person, right? I don't like, I don't agree with them or with Jalen in this case, but I can come from like a general understanding of why they might have a personal gripe with him.
Should be like paying off his mortgage, and here he is talking.
I personally don't think Chud is like genuinely fucking like transphobic or whatever. I think he capitalizes on it for his audience, but I don't think it's like super hard like genuine sentiment he has.
Talking about Liam Donovan.
Or maybe I'm blind. I don't fucking know.
This has been like a whole thing. All these commentary losers, they've all been making videos on Lyrix now that he's like, now that he's rebranded. And you have like Rose Malay. I think Rose Malay made like one of the biggest exposed videos.
Aren't you 5% African? I'm 2% African. Okay, buddy, let's get it right.
On him, which I just think is funny. Like
2% North African too. It's not even sub-Saharan. So I actually don't get to use the black card. Maybe I could be like I could start like LARPing as like a Moroccan.
Like Rose Malay, this is a whole rabbit hole with her. Like this woman, she is crazy, and I don't say that lightly. She has made
Chud's bisexual, but yeah, for sure, for 150%, 150%. Okay, I don't buy. I like Chud a lot, but I don't buy that you just like overnight, like all of a sudden. I think there's like a level of bisexuality to being into people that you know have like a dick, right? $2 from Patrick Starr. You're blind. You don't even look at the chat. I just look at the chat. Thank you so much. That's very fucking generous. Thank you so much for your donation. G's with another $5 super generous. Top donor of the night. Very much appreciate it. Let me set up goal real quick. Thank you, buddy. Really appreciate it. I have a question, okay? Because like to get my money through YouTube now, I have to like fill out a tax form or something. And does the IRS, like if you have an SSN, does the IRS just like have you on file even if you've never actually like had to pay, if you've never fallen into like an income bracket where you've had to like pay taxes before? Or like is there, I'm a little confused how that works, but
pro grape arguments. She supports grape and a bunch of other crazy shit. This is a person who clearly needs like mental
I don't know why I'm asking tax information to my chat.
health help. She needs like extensive therapy, like extreme extensive therapy. This is someone who is very unhealthy, not sound in the mind whatsoever.
And also if they're withholding a percentage, right, for tax reasons, that doesn't count for like income tax, right? I still have to pay a percentage of that when I do an income tax form, right?
But she made this video. I didn't watch it. I left a comment. I don't even know if it's gonna pop
You
up.
always have to pay tax unless someone, because I was a student, I was still claimed as a dependent for a long time. Now I fall into a personal income bracket where I do have to pay taxes.
Because I think it was on my other account, but she liked it, and I was like, oh yeah, here it is. Oh my god, this is so shocking. I had no idea Liam Donovan was up to this behavior. I might have to unsubscribe. And
$5 from G's. I'm an IRS agent. Oh, thanks for the info. Let me not pay taxes.
she took that seriously. Like, I don't know why she took it seriously, but she did for some reason. But her argument, I guess, is that Liam Lyrics, he saw this other guy who had a music channel who was like taking a break because of his mental health, and then on stream Lyrics was like, you know what, I could make this content.
You did work before, not consistently enough where I was like making enough of an income to not be claimed as a dependent. I've worked before, but not like I wasn't making like enough where I would not be considered a dependent, because when I had done previous work, I was still living with my parents and shit.
I kind of feel bad doing this. I kind of feel like a piece of shit. You should feel bad.
I'm only 20. I know a lot of people earlier are already filing taxes. Okay, I was fortunate to not have to worry about that earlier on.
Thanks, Edwin. 10 out of 10 segment.
I don't understand what pushes people to see stuff like that and think, oh, this is really good content for my drama channel.
So I guess her whole argument is that like Lyrics kind of like exploited people's mental health for his content, and then kind of exploited this Brad Taste in Music guy's like break or mental.
Rose Malay took Lyrics' comment like as literally as possible. He obviously just wanted to get into this genre. He saw Brad crying, made a joke about it. But the plan was to infiltrate this genre regardless of whether or not Brad was still a part of it. Because even if Brad never slowed down and kept the viewership that he had at the time, Lyrics would like still be getting like the same general viewership. It really, like, I doubt it would have like substantively changed that much.
Mental health like episode to make the same kind of content that he was making, and it worked. Like his Lyrics' channel kind of blew up. So her argument is that like this is kind of
Aiden is the best. Whoa. Let me read that. I hope that was a nice comment. Aiden is the best streamer to fall asleep and stay asleep to. Can never stay awake when I'm listening to this guy. Keep up the great work, Gaiden. Thank you so much, man. It means a lot. Have I ever suggested a President Sunday? You might even get... You genuinely... I have sleep problems. President Sunday, unironically, is like a really good alternative to sleeping pills.
Fucked up that you like did this. You kind of stole this guy's whole niche because you saw an opportunity to do so. And then I guess she like brings up all the like edgy shit that Lyrics has said in his past. Now, I mean, that could be a valid argument if done properly, but like at the end of the day, this is YouTube, right? Lyrics saw an opportunity, he took it. Good for him. That's how YouTube works. I don't necessarily think that there's anything wrong with that. And I mean, if anything, it got him out of this bullshit. So good for him, I guess. And now you have people like Chud Logic coming out of the woodworks to expose Lyrics.
Can we not be mean to Sunday? Sunday is... I have a very complicated relationship with the guy. He's a very strange guy who I despise most of the time. But I've said nice things about him occasionally. He's just very boring.
For his past. Let's see what this guy has to say.
Total lyrics and just no, stop trying to escape from your past, dude. Now you've been felted by Rose Malay. Lyrics, you are Brad. You've become Brad. What have you done? You've forsaken yourself. It's all very well and good. Like, how do you... I know this is like maliciously put together or something like that, but people are going to listen to this and be horrified.
So
the problem with Rose's video is that, like, at the beginning, right? At the beginning of the video, there were genuine points where it was like, when this gets brought up, Lyrics' entire fucking fan base is going to go and turn on him, right? The, like, past lolicon shit, edgy jokes, whatever. Rose starts the video off. The first starting points that Rose uses are, like, points related to a personal gripe that Rose disingenuously presents. So all Lyrics would need to do is, like, refute those first points, and, like, this shouldn't be the case, but the viewers would just not really take the rest seriously. Aiden is totally useless. He can't read shit. He can't read shit, it seems. What am I missing?
Oh, I guess, like, I'm gonna go out at full screen. So I guess the argument here is that, like, because Lyrics is changing, he's, like, becoming a completely different person and forgoing who he was in the past. But I always got this vibe from Lyrics that he was fake as fuck. Like, this whole edgy commentary shit, like, it was never really for him. And there's probably something that Chris...
Yeah, obviously. No, that's true. But, like, fake as fuck has, like, negative connotations. Like, when you're an entertainer, there's nothing wrong with being fake as fuck and, like, presenting an on-screen persona to get your fucking bag. Okay, there's, like, you don't have to, like, be disingenuous and admit, I'm exactly the same person behind the scenes and in front of the scenes. The problem we have now is Lyrics claims he's the exact same person. Obviously not true. But, like, there's nothing wrong with being fake in, like, your presentation to entertain people. I personally... right? I've done this less, but I've, like, played up certain aspects. Like, I kind of was skim-walking Chud for a while of, like, getting, like, over mad at, like, chatters or whatever. But other than that, like, generally, I'm, like, pretty much the same. Like, if you talk to me, like, one-on-one or, like, in real life, there's nothing, like... And if I don't like what I'm doing, I tell you that. I don't pretend to like it. If something is, like, super fucking boring to me, I'm not here to, like, I'm not gonna lie to you. The problem is, right, I'm, like, a full-time student right now. So I'm not, like, this isn't, like, my main thing, right? People like Lyrics or these other people, this is their main thing. They're not in school, whatever. So to fake it to get the bag kind of makes sense for them.
Criticized there. Like, he was always very sensitive.
Yo, Kinetic Hell with the 99 cents sent a hot dog. We're vegan here, but I appreciate it. Thank you for the 99 cents.
He didn't like being criticized for things. He would constantly, like, leave and come back anytime he got a little bit of backlash.
AIDS gang represent,
so
okay?
Yo, thank you to Plants with the $5. Happy weekend, Aiden. Thank you so much. Happy weekend to you too. I found out this Plants person wasn't actually British. I've been living a lie.
Honestly think that this new him, this new person that he's become, I think that this is more him. Like, this is more his authenticity.
Rose Malay is an attention-seeking individual, okay? And
No shit, and so are you, dude. I mean, that's the whole comment.
Oh my, this whole video is just gonna, this isn't really, half this video, I'm venturing to guess, isn't gonna be a Liam Donovan video. It's gonna be like crying about commentary and Chud Logic. That's gonna be like the whole fucking video.
Genre. Everyone's just seeking attention.
is they've done a video about...
Like, I also hate commentary, right? But it's not like necessarily anymore like due to like this is, it's like very ironic that Jalen is like calling people out for like bitterness. Jalen is like one of the most like bitter people like that makes content, right? A lot of this video is going to be airing out like grievances due to like underlying anger against Chud, probably for his like trans coverage or like the commentary community for you know, hating this person.
You know, former compatriot lyrics.
He don't know how to say my name. Okay, okay, Taya. Okay, you've been watching my streams for 6 months. I've always called you Tay. It wasn't until last night. You've called in about 5 times. It wasn't until last night that you finally revealed to me it's actually not Tay. It's Taya. It's not that I don't know how to say your name. It's that you've just never explained it for 6 months. $5 from Plants. Wait, you got monetized? I did. If you guys, Streamlabs is preferable because I think they take less money. But I did get monetized. If you and I do have super chats now. Yes, yeah. This was like a few weeks ago.
And apparently they've exposed...
Thank you so much for the other $5 fucking dollars.
And we looked the other day at some of the Reddit comments, and I think Lyrics is playing a bit of a game here, I think, where he's trying to do this. Oh, I've changed. I'm not the same guy anymore. I'm different now. It comes across very much like...
Chart at the $2.
You know,
Meow.
Last week he was
Thank you, buddy.
being all edgy. Now he's not being edgy.
Tay with the $5. Oh, I missed that. A Shiba Inu. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. I'm sorry, I missed your donation. My bad. Or Taya. Sorry, Taya. I'll get the hang of it. It's not that I don't know how to mispronounce your name. You just only told me how to pronounce it for the first time, like yesterday.
To, you know, comply to the new audience. And he's kind of like trying to bridge that gap by acting like he's meaningfully changed, when obviously how can you change that much in the course of such a short period of time?
Honestly, this might be a valid argument. I hate when people do that, like, oh look, I've changed, I'm no longer edgy. I've reformed from my old ways. I think Lyrics should just be honest. I don't know what that is because I'm not him. I don't.
Has he outright stated? I don't remember this. Like the whole like, I know the meme, iDubbbz, I learned empathy at the age of 20 something. I get that, right? But did Lyrics ever fall? At first, it seemed like he wasn't using that cope, right? And then when the Rose Malay shit happened, he's like, I haven't changed as a person. I've just changed my content style. But then when the Rose Malay shit happened on his stream, he actually did frame it like somebody commented, like he's just grown up or whatever. And he agreed with that comment, which wasn't what he said to me on stream like prior to that. So I guess you could interpret that as like the I learned empathy thing. Goal's about to end. Why does it only set for 3 minutes? Okay, I'll... Ghoul with the 320 yen. Thank you so much. Very fucking generous. Very generous. I don't know how much that is, but 320 is a huge number, so much fucking appreciated.
I don't know what his experience is. I don't know why he decided to like leave and start this new channel. I don't know what his journey's been like. I don't know if he actually has changed or if he's just saying that to appease his audience or whatever, but like whatever the case is, I think you should just be honest. Like if the reason is because, you know, he didn't really fuck with this whole commentary shit and it was...
Tell me how it's a sudden change. Even when he's been doing music streams and music segments in his drama coverage, he hasn't even touched the Ethan drama, even though it's been profitable. I don't know. What do you think the word like sudden means? To like change your humor, you know, the way to change your humor, the aggressiveness, etc., over the span of like a month or less. I'd say most people would consider that like pretty sudden. I don't know if you came from Liam's channel or something. That's not like it was like a fairly sudden change. That's not like, and I understand why it was sudden, right? The music channel blew up. He saw an opportunity. He took it. But it was absolutely a relatively like sudden change.
Toxic, then he should come out and be like, yeah, honestly, I was just kind of like faking it. Like, I wasn't really into this whole commentary shit, and I've decided to leave, and I'm changing, and I'm learning, and I'm growing. He should be honest. Just be honest. Again, I don't know what he's going through. I don't know what's going on in his head. Should probably be honest.
It's literally the same humor, though. I watch both. I've been a viewer for 7 months. Okay, he actually, I think, even disagrees with you. He's literally stated to me that, like, the old version, the aggressiveness, etc., wasn't, like, really who I was. So he himself believes there's a change. If you disagree with that, go take it up with him.
Honest, a little more honest about things, but I get it. He blew up, has a new audience, probably kind of scared to, like, you know, fuck it all up. I understand. Been there before. Just be honest. That's my advice.
But yeah, his audience is full of gay tweens that make queer art of him, basically.
I mean, is there a problem with that? Is there a problem with being gay, Chad Logic? When you look like this, you look like this.
Look and see what this video is all about. I personally,
This video, I told you, just gonna be like pure bitterness. Is there a problem with being gay? Do you take it? He's just okay. He's just using. I'm
not a fan of well,
Rose Malay.
Rose Malay is just kind of like this bitter individual who will get like, you know, like she did it with Brad Taste in Music. I think she's doing the same thing.
This
here.
video should be called I don't like Chud Logic's coverage of Liam Donovan.
With Liam as well, where it's like, oh, you didn't pay me attention and didn't give me what I wanted.
She claimed that like Lyrics was like stealing her like content or her genre or whatever, and that she couldn't make it now because the Lyrics had blown up in this space or something. I don't know. Really crazy person. I watched a little bit of their debate. I didn't watch the whole thing because like I cannot stand Rose. Every interaction I've had with this person is frustrating because she's clearly a person who needs help that doesn't actually want to get help, and she needs it. She
very very good insight. I completely agree. Very good insight. If only you had like that same insight for yourself. Actually, no, to be fair I'm gonna be totally fair to Jalen, okay? Jalen has in like the course of our discussions acknowledged like something is wrong and like has tried to like make an effort in the past. Unfortunately, like sometimes making an effort isn't really like good enough to actually fix anything, but I'll be fair here. I'll be fair.
Desperately needs help, and she should step away from the internet. When you're coming online and you're debating people on why
we stop putting they need help or they have mental issues on people without their agency, yeah, it's totally like that aspect of it is like completely irrelevant to this unless you're talking about like the crashing out that like Rose does. Then you can talk about, okay, this person needs mental help. But like in terms of like the coverage of Leon, like no, this person is like full agency.
Grape is good. Like, you gotta step away. You gotta step away. You gotta get the fuck out because something's wrong with you. Something is clearly messed up in your fucking head, and this is not the place for you because that shit can stick with you forever. When you were going through, I don't know what she's going through, but like that's not something that you wanna stick to you for forever because that shit was just
alleged
crazy.
Mental illness is a censorship tool. Okay, to be like I totally agree with what you're saying, Rita, but to be like fair, at this point we're beyond alleged, right? This person actually broke down in like tears in the course of my discussion with them, like out of nowhere. Like, I don't think it's like alleged at this point to say Rose Malay is actually suffering from mental illness. That mental illness, whatever it may be, is not like so agency removing that like we can't hold her accountable for like disingenuously presenting like points in the course of the video.
Crazy.
But anyway, let's have a watch of the video, see what we think about it, and go from there. Let's get into it.
What accusations was Rose Malay saying?
Rose, if you don't say it right now, I'm gonna fucking rape you.
Bolts in his face.
Yeah, I
Colton was the only
agree.
one who was
I
bringing
agree
the
with
content. Well, he was sending me voice messages saying, "I want to rape you." Bend
Okay,
over.
go ahead.
You know, if anyone's listening to this conversation, Rose Malay, if you want to, you
I
know,
agree with you. It's like the Bo Black shit. Like this is like exactly what I said, right? We can acknowledge that people have a mental illness. Like we can acknowledge people have a mental illness, but the times people choose to acknowledge it typically is like in this kind of context is to remove agency from the person. And when people are like Boblax is like obviously mentally ill, yeah, that's nobody's contesting that. The question is, right, does that mental illness bear any relevancy to his actions? A lot of people who commit like unusually bad acts probably have some sort of like not neurotypical or whatever the fuck, but a lot of like the YouTubers who have been exposed for doing crazy shit probably are not neurotypical. The question is, does that bear like any relevance to their actions? And there's only a few cases I could think of where it would. A good example would be like probably FouseyTube. Fousey's done some genuinely shitty stuff that can't be like boiled down to mental illness. But there have been times where he's like the most like textbook case of like somebody having a manic episode, and it's like, yeah, if you like at that point, like, yeah, agency can be like removed a little bit. Like he's clearly like totally fucking manic right now.
What the fuck?
She wouldn't defend herself. That's all I'm saying.
Fucking awful person. You say shit like that, and that's just supposed to be okay.
It's a meme.
Rose,
It's not, no, it's not a fucking meme. That's an invitation.
When I was 15, I was groomed. I coped in a lot of really...
I don't know why you're bringing that up. I don't know what this has to do with, like...
It's a post hoc rationalization. Rose was essentially attempting to make it out to be like the rape jokes that Lyrics was making were in relation to the fact that they were groomed at 15. The problem is, nobody knew that Rose had been groomed at 15 because Rose never brought it up. Now Rose is bringing it up in hindsight to justify the abhorrent, like, rape takes that she had, and is now saying, if you're, like, going after me or making fun of me for these rape takes, you're, in essence, making fun of the fact that I was groomed at 15. And it's like, no, you know very well that's not why he made those jokes. Like, you know that. You're just choosing to be like disingenuous because it's not going to go over as well in a video if you say, oh, he's making jokes about me defending rape. Because then nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to care that he's making those jokes. They're just going to think you're like a super shitty person.
Any of this, but okay, I'm sorry that happened to you.
unhealthy ways.
That explains a lot. It's all adding up now. I get it. Right.
Rape is okay, but I don't think you solve it by hurting.
This is why I hate these people, man. You can't make a joke out of that. That's fucked up. Jesus Christ.
I want to be raped because I deserve it.
And during
You can't make a joke out of that. You can't make a joke out of that. Let me just go to... Jalen will occasionally DM me and I won't respond. Okay, actually, there's no recently edgy jokes, but Jalen has, like, a history of being, like, insanely fucking edgy.
time, a lot of content creators exploited my situation for laughs.
You came on
Not even just edgy, by the way. Jalen called... Edgy is, like, if you're actually... Edgy's if you're actually, like, trying to be funny. Jalen, out of anger, just straight up called some, like... Okay, allegedly black person. Point is, Jalen believed that this person was black. Called someone that she believed to be black the fucking N-word in, like, one of the... more in a way that was, like, the emphasis on the word was just, like, so racist. I think, like, it sounded more racist than, like, have you ever seen the movie, like, 12 Years a Slave? Like, Jalen could have been, like, a supporting character in that movie. Like, it was, like, the most racist use of the N-word I think I've ever heard in my whole fucking life.
The internet. You were exploiting yourself. You wanted the attention. At that point, you can say it's exploitation, and I feel like at a certain point some of these people probably should have like stepped off you and realized that you are not a mentally sound individual, but like you put yourself in that position.
Yeah, I don't believe Izzy Tan on anything. This Izzy Tan person is like a complete freak. Like, I don't know why anyone entertained this person's like existence in any community. It's like a grown ass man like trying to be fucking cool to a bunch of like fucking kids being like, yeah, I'm a diagnosed sociopath. I'm actually a diagnosed sociopath, thinking like it makes him sound cool or some shit.
And you continue to put yourself in that position, so you are in no position to sit here and argue that you were exploited, because you did it to yourself, and that's why you should step away. Like, you can say you're mentally ill, and I believe that 100%, but at the same time, you do have the agency to step away.
Yes. Okay, so Rita, is it a Jalen W? Is this? Are you willing to give Jalen the W here?
get some help. I fully believe that Rose Malay has that ability, has that agency, especially since she's told me that her parents are all like rich and shit, and that she doesn't have to like get a job and what I don't know her life situation, but that's just some shit she told me on Twitter, that her parents are like super rich, so like why don't you use that money to like better yourself, like buy a gym membership, I don't know, do something.
To be completely fair to Rose Malay, like having money has not really like mental illness like can be like just as devastating for somebody who like has money versus if they don't. The thing is though, right, it is a valid point to say if you do have money, right, it is easier to deal with your it's not that doesn't mean it's necessarily gonna happen, but it is easier to deal with your mental illness because there's not other like constraints in life like having to worry about your next paycheck, so you have more time, you do have more time to get that sorted, but having money isn't necessarily gonna sort it.
Get out there.
Liam was one of these creators, although he went under the name Lyrics at this time. What he said to me on that stream deeply bothered me, but I never spoke about this for years because I figured that people would just blame me because of the things that I said. But something still felt deeply wrong about the fact that this man was using his platform to make fun of me, all while his audience was cheering him on for making these comments.
That's kind of the point of the commentary community. Like, I'm sorry, but you're stepping into that realm on purpose. You know the content that they make. You know what they do. You put yourself in
What the fuck? I'm seeing so many Liam Donovan stream chatters here. There's a bit of an overlap, right? Because some of the people from the Lyrics channel went over to watching Liam, and a lot of the people that watch me. As anyone who's in chat right now found out about my channel because of Lyrics, the thing is I didn't really like market myself when I came back to streaming, so a lot of my growth has been like from when other streamers have covered me. So I had people come over from like Tom, from Chud, from Lyrics.
that situation that you shouldn't.
Can we 2x speed this? Yeah, for sure. Dude, I wonder why I can't finish videos anymore. It's because I yap too much and I put it on like normal speed.
Put yourself into
At my expense. Why is it that in 2017, when Rice Gum said a very similar thing,
Guys, if you want to rape her, she won't sue you, so.
everyone
Yeah, this was also disingenuous. Rice Gum is like speaking to somebody who's just revealed that they're a victim of rape. Lyrics is making this joke to you because you've made a take against rape victims. He has absolutely no idea that you're a victim yourself. So to present it in that context is like super disingenuous and like, in my opinion, just as bad as lying.
universally agreed that it was
No, they didn't. No, they did not universally agree. They did not, actually. It was kind of the opposite. That's one of the things he got criticized for.
wrong. And yet here we are 8 years later, and I'm out here feeling crazy for even having an issue with it. The rest of that call continued, and
I found you from Augie. Well, listen, man. I banned like half the people that have found me from Augie, but you're chill. You could stay.
taking the
I think the culture's just changed, and
I mean, to be honest, I don't think rape jokes are funny. They're incredibly, I don't know. It's just not, that's not something, oh my god, my fucking poster fell down. It's just not something you should joke about. It's not something you should joke about. This is my VidCon. It's my VidCon poster. I don't think you should like joke about rape. I don't know. I just think that's one of those things that's like not really funny. And I get the urge to be edgy. Like I know how these communities work. I get it. But
It depends on the context in which you're joking about rape. It like totally depends on the context. If somebody's told you they've been raped and then you start making rape jokes to them, like, yeah, that's like a fucking insane thing to do. If like you're making like a rape joke like with your friends or some shit, like depends on the context. But like to outright say, you shouldn't make a joke about this entire category is like really stupid. I think you could make a joke about like almost anything in an appropriate context or time, right?
like at the same time, I don't think you should be joking about rape. That's a horrible fucking thing to joke about, and it looks bad on you. Like in the moment, you think you're being cool and edgy, like ha.
I'm sorry. I gotta. Can we just like all admit? I know a lot of you are now saying you came from Augie. Can we just admit like Clipped Live? I'm sorry. I'm gonna derail. Can we just admit Clipped Live is like the dumbest fucking subreddit to like ever come into fruition? These people are so fucking retarded. I think they're like shitting on Queeman recently, but like. Hold on, I'm sorry. I need to just... You're reminding me. You reminded me now. I should have brought this up on stream. Hold on. I'm sorry. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. $5 from Matra King. Thank you so fucking much. That's super generous. Thank you so much. If I miss your donos, by the way, guys, just let me know. Okay. No, it's mostly Nick that runs it now. It's like, it's Augie fans, but on a subreddit that's like run by Nick. Is Aiden just violently dumb, or is he being a contrarian just for the sake of it? I swear to God, every time I open Twitter, he consistently has some of the worst takes imaginable. At least with Smaggle, if he has a dumb take, we can chalk it up to his autism. But Aiden doesn't even have that. Okay, so there's a problem here. There's a big problem. This is the second take they've called dumb, and have just never explained why it's dumb. Just like, they can't engage with it. They literally, these people cannot fucking engage with it. So, this might be the worst takeaway anyone has had from anything. This is in regards to the Ethan Klein, Sam Seder debate, right? And even if you're on Ethan's side on all of this, right, which I'm not, I've made that clear, even if you're on Ethan's side, to pretend like all Sam Seder was saying was like this, I know it's like a joke or hyperbole, but it's like to say he didn't really make any points. He absolutely made points. He made several points. He made several good points, right? Was it his strongest performance? No, but he absolutely made several good points. So I said this might be the worst takeaway anyone's ever had from anything. Meaning, like, if you watch that whole thing and can't, like, extrapolate, like, any of the points he gave to, like, contest, like, you took nothing away from that. Like, I actually might even doubt, like, I doubt that you even watched it. Here to give some more takes on content you don't watch. I watched the interview. Sam made several good points. Yeah, I did watch. I watched the interview. So, this isn't contrarian, right? I'd say actually this is probably an opinion that's held by the majority. Even if, like, even if people don't like Sam, I'm sure if they're arguing in good faith, they're willing to admit several points were made, right? So, this person was, Aiden isn't funny, so that's the only way for him to get attention. Like, I wanted to like him at first, but there was just no way. At least he actually tries, so I'll give him that. But until he finds a way, I don't care about him. I haven't watched the debate, and Sam isn't the worst person in politics, so he probably did. But for anything else, Aiden... Okay, so this person doesn't even disagree with my point. Got it. I don't disagree with this point, but I'm just gonna, like, agree with the post, because I don't find this person funny. I'm guessing you... And then this is the other cope. This is the other cope. Wait for it. It all... Literally. It all fucking boils down to... When you were 14, you had dumb opinions that changed a lot. Or... No, that's literally actually it. When you were 14, you had dumb... This is like... We should make a bingo card for, like, people that don't like me. This is, like, the go-to. The go-to. I'm guessing you might be new to commentary, but basically, this is Aiden's role in the community. His whole role is that he rapid fires out contrarian... I bet you if we click on this, it's going to be from, like, at least 3 years ago. Okay, 3 years ago. When was the clip from? The clip was from 4 fucking years ago. I was 15. I was 15 in this it's literally the Japanese soldier that hasn't stopped fighting the fucking war. This is Aiden's whole role. Here's this clip when he was 15 years old. It has been 5 years, sir. I'm 20 fucking years old. It's been 5 fucking years. That's my whole role? Really? Aiden, didn't your therapist say you had gender dysmorphia? No. No. I'll tell you exactly what happened. I could tell you this story. Okay? I was an edgelord, okay? And I painted like a nail or two like black once. And this person was like, "Oh, so why'd you paint your nails? Do you like struggle with like your gender or something?" I'm like, "No." It's like cool. It was obviously not very cool, but that was what that was. That was like the whole context. Anyways. That was half a decade ago. You should watch the Aiden clips from Commentary Aids. The abortion debate was amazing. So more stuff from like 4 years ago. And then I make a great reply. Can't wait until we get some actual engagement with the substance of my statement instead of, you disagree with the guy I like, so you're a contrarian, and you had a dumb opinion when you were 14. Sam had incredibly reasonable positions. This is like my least criticizable take. It is. You can't even argue this one's contrarian, because this is like a take held by like, I'd even say the majority of people that watch that. $5 from Fernando H. Mauling over a subreddit. Aped behavior, not gonna lie. I am malding. I am mad. I am mad. Like, people being not smart actually personally offends me. I am totally mad. Are you mad about this? Yes. Yep, I'm mad about it. Problem? Issue? So this actual fucking genius, like, unironically, like the smartest person on this subreddit. Nah, Sam destroyed Ethan. Ethan said Nelson Mandela was peaceful. That is not true about Nelson Mandela. Nelson never did. He was arrested twice for refusing to condemn armed violence. He was legit sent to prison. Okay, so that's not an entirely accurate, like, characterization of why he was arrested. But to say that, like, Nelson Mandela was, like, totally against the use of violence is, like, not true. It's, like, revisionism. Okay, these people just argue about it. This subreddit is retarded. Actually retarded. Wait, I don't want to accidentally pull up, I don't want to accidentally pull up. Okay, there's nothing here. Nothing to stalk this person with. Alright, let's get back to this.
Let me say this fucked up thing, but like, again, it's one of those things that's gonna come back to haunt you. And I don't know. I just think it's cringe. What community are you a part of? I don't fucking know at this point. I'm part of my own goddamn community. I'm too much of a contrarian myself. I'm too much of a thinker. I'm a big thinker, okay? I don't go along with people just because like that's what the group thinks. Like if I think something different, I'm gonna say it. That's how I've always been, and I've always pissed people off because of that, and I've never
That's
fit in
true.
with certain communities. But that's
listen.
just how I am. That's who I am. If I
Listen, Jalen is like an insane person. Jalen is an insane person, like unbelievably cringe. But at least Jalen has consistently, like consistently gone against the mob. Okay, I can appreciate that. It's Ricky how do you say his last name? That's like French, I'm assuming. Pequot. Aiden, why do you crave validation from a group of people that hate? Does this stem from the lack of attention your parents gave you? Okay, Sigmund Freud. Good one.
if I think something different, I'm gonna express that, you know.
I crave validation from the world. I want the world to look me in the eyes and tell me, you were right all along. That's all I want. I'll be satisfied. I can die on my deathbed happy.
No, the internet was edgier back then. We've kind of gone through this loop, I guess, where, yeah, in 2020 BreadTube era, saying stuff like that would be deranged. But, like, 2023, 24, 25, I think there's, funnily enough, more room to say edgy shit and people just don't really care, you know? I think that's what's happened. I think that's why there's not as much concern or something anymore, I guess.
For a minute, I thought Jalen was drinking a Bud Light. I was going to be like, holy, why is everybody becoming an alcoholic now?
Yeah, but irony poisoned? Yeah, there's an irony poisoning issue, sure, something like that too. But yeah.
I'll move myself up so you can,
What is this? Rape trauma makes Rose cope and seethe. Her little ass was begging for it.
Okay, we have like 3 people on screen. Dude, if you want to know like what 4 people on screen, there is nothing in this world that pisses Chud Logic off like more than React Inception. It's like his biggest pet peeve. It's huge pet peeve of his.
Moral high ground. I tried being nice in response. It didn't occur to me until later when I rewatched the stream that one of Liam's friends sent him a clip joking that he was going to rape me.
What's so bad about him sitting in a jail cell for 20, 30 years?
Okay. Wait, Rose.
No, genuine question.
I never said anything about this. I just...
Is that Colton?
Yeah, that's
Sorry,
Colton.
Colton's such a fucking weirdo, dude.
Dude, the problem I have is that like apparently my voice is so similar to Colton's. Colton will be like on a stream talking and I will get accused. They'll say it was like me that was talking.
Oh my god, Colton! This is what you get when you trust some weird internet autist.
Let it go. I moved on with my life. That was until one day I saw a video on my YouTube recommended from a guy called Liam Donovan, and I saw his face.
Liam Donovan, lyrics.
Wow, what, you saw his face and you got like so triggered and traumatized it brought up flashbacks? Come on, Rose. You just wanted attention. You just saw a chance. You just saw a chance at attention. You're like, holy fuck, this guy has a lot of views. Let me fucking expose him.
Is running from his past. The big question is, can he escape it? I mean, dude, I don't understand why Liam has even bothered responding to this. Why didn't he just ignore all of this shit?
Honestly, first good thing that this guy has said. That's actually good advice. He shouldn't have engaged with this whatsoever. Go about his life, ignore the community. That's the best thing you can do. I learned my lesson from that shit personally. You're never gonna
the problem with that, I agree with that. The problem is this was like inevitably gonna come up. Like if we're all just being real. Like everyone was calling that this was gonna come up, and if there's any time to bring it up, it's better he brought it up now when the person that has like ignited the powder keg is somebody like Rose Malay, who he can like easily like throw out her opinions, even if they're legitimate, some of them, right? Then like wait until like somebody who actually is like respectable comes forward with this shit to like go and address it. So if I were in his shoes, this actually was probably the best time to go and like deal with it.
get anything good by responding to people like Rose Malay or Chet Logic or any of these people. Just leave. Leave, dip, and ignore it.
Why is he fucking responding to Rose Malay, giving it this fucking extra credit? Bro, just fucking ignore all this and do your little fucking music review channel to your fucking tweeny poppers that make queer art of you. It's so stupid, man.
If you can tell me Obama's last name, I'll donate $50. Obama? Well, didn't he go under the name in Indonesia of like Barry Sohorto? Something like that. When he was living in Indonesia?
I was very confused at first. This is Lyrics with a brand new channel. And as soon as I saw that, I went over to his subreddit page. I wrote a long, emotional post where I
Jesus Christ, why?
going to come forward and talk about my experience. That post was never made public. It was held for review. It was never posted. I got banned from his subreddit for writing that. And immediately I start receiving a message from Liam. Part of his...
Oh, no. Okay.
Satoru.
So, I was going to say, this is kind of based. Someone types out a massive message, you delete it. Bro, oh my god, dude. This is unbelievable.
Dude, I don't know why, like... Liam's, like, go-to when this shit happens is to, like, go and, like, write these people, like, paragraphs. Like, this is how the Tom shit got leaked, because he was, like, going and, like, writing paragraphs to, like, Jalen. Like, he's, like, sending fucking essays. Like, calm it down.
Hey, I saw your weird Reddit post, and I don't know what your deal is. No one was seriously making remarks or, like, serious jokes about raping you.
Has
Jesus,
Liam streamed since he streamed the Rose thing when he was addressing it.
man. I don't have anything genuinely against you or anything. It was just you said crazy things before, especially about rape.
Aiden isn't left or right if I'm no, I am 100% left. 800,000 fucking %. 800. I hate centrism. I hate centrism so much. Like, I despise centrists. A lot of people are gonna get mad at that, but like, no, centrism is like people who don't like actually have an opinion on anything. And if you're a centrist in the United States at this point, you're just sympathetic to the right. Like, I don't like talk to a centrist. I've never actually met like a centrist that like wasn't just like right leaning.
And we were just joking about it on stream. Wasn't ever to personally affect you or anything. But yeah, I hope that clears anything up. It was just stupid, dumb content at the time, not anything serious, which I thought you like got new. But yeah, it's never been anything against you personally to affect you.
I mean, I don't know. I think if anything, this kind of reflects on his character. Rose Malay was making this whole like emotionally charged post about how like awful Lyrics was in the past, and he's like, "Hey, like I just
even
wanna...
left-leaning centrist. If you're a left-leaning centrist, I'm just gonna consider you on the left. If like, I mean, like, what is a left-leaning centrist?
to reach out and let you know that like the jokes and stuff I made, like it was never anything personal. You know, you were just saying crazy shit, so we were just making jokes, and like that's all it was. Like I don't have anything against you personally. He's trying to like comfort her, let her know that like you're kind of sorry what happened in the past.
Maybe they aren't terminally online. That's cope for saying they don't read about anything. Okay, you don't need to be terminally online to like to have a general understanding of like what the fuck is going on.
And if he has genuinely changed, then maybe this points to that. But also, it could just be an attempt at damage control. Who knows?
It was serious. You were the raped. Unlucky. I don't know, bro. It's so stupid, dude. Rose Malay doesn't care about this. It's obviously bullshit, man. It's obviously she's putting this on and this is bullshit. Just fuck.
I mean, I don't necessarily know. It's always hard to tell with Rose. Like, is she trolling or is she, like, she actually believes the shit she's saying? I don't know. I think she's just mentally ill. I think that's the whole thing with her.
Okay, so Jalen just criticized how, like, Rose, like, still has agency over what happened, but, like, now it's just, like, removing the agency.
She's mentally ill, and she thought that this was going to go her way. It didn't end up going her way. And there's my cat. Hello, cat.
It's obvious. He is desperate.
I was don't get me wrong, I was totally a contrarian during my RFC days. I would say inflammatory shit to make people mad. I would, like on the election night stream, I was like probably the last time I did something like that, where I was like telling everybody that Kamala can still win this. Kamala can still win. She just needs to win Guam.
There's this edgy shit to not be presented to his new audience, and he's panicking trying to deal with it. Rather than just accept you've got an edgy past and just owning it and moving on, he's desperately trying to put a lid on it. You can't put a lid on it, bro. Just let the fucking lid off and have a laugh about it. Why are you so worried about this, dude? Stop trying to run from your past, dude. You can't escape it.
Response was to tell me that
If you don't subscribe to politics, then say I don't know enough about politics to take a position. If you're saying you're a centrist, you're indicating that you have some level of knowledge about politics enough to like position yourself as a centrist.
it was just stupid, dumb content at the time, not anything serious. First of all, I found it very fishy, the fact that he had the ability to ensure that nobody on his subreddit saw this post and then DM me, and so I responded. So it's stupid, dumb content when it's from you, and I'm horrible for even saying that I was bothered by it. But when I say dumb shit, I'm just supposed to be okay with being laughed at and mocked for it for eternity. It's the double standards that bother me. I'm having a hard time feeling sympathy when I feel like that sympathy was never awarded to me. You brought me on your stream to laugh at me because of shit I said years ago. You were never going to give me a real chance, not even a sorry.
Right. So Rose is A fucking clout freak that's desperately trying to obtain some clout and attention off of this, and B, bitter because she gets shit for the rape stuff and
Yeah.
wants other people to be dragged down
Totally.
to
Yep, that's the analysis. That's the take. That's just the
a
takeaway.
level. Right, okay. Very transparent is Rose.
Sorry, all the content on stream is never that deep. A few weeks pass, and I make a tweet that like 10 people see, where I kind of just subtweet about the whole situation. And like clockwork, Liam goes into my DMs again, which is crazy because we
Oh
don't
my
really talk
God,
like that.
dude.
Honestly, yeah, I think at this point he shouldn't have continued engaging with this person. But Lyrics again,
To be fair, Aiden, the reason you don't think centrism is real is because you've been mentally eroded to the point of thinking a lefty and righty can never. I'm gonna lose it. I'm actually gonna lose my mind. I'm sure there are some things that somebody on the left and the right can agree with, right? The right used to be, we all believed in like the same fundamental principles in the United States, like the Constitution, liberty, etc., due process. The problem we have now is that the new right in the United States, those like core principles, it was like a disagreement of we agreed with what we want, we just disagreed with like how it needs to happen. Now those core principles are like have shifted on the right, and like no, it's not like I could sit at the table with like a person like this. No, if you believe in like imprisoning people without due process, you're just a fucking horrible person. There's no like sitting at the table with you anymore. You're just like a terrible fucking person.
and Lyrics has always been sensitive. This reminds me of my first interaction with Lyrics. So like back in the day, when Lyrics was first like coming up in the commentary community, and I was also popping off at the same time making my like shitty commentary dream canceled videos. He was making like 50 videos on like some there was this group or this channel called like Too Hype, and there's a lot of drama with them, and Lyrics was like milking the fuck out of that shit. Like he made like 50 videos, and like
I could sit at the table as much as I don't like their policies. I can sit at the table and have a discussion with a Romney. I can sit at the table and have a discussion with a Pence. I can sit at the table and have a discussion with a McCain. You honestly, like, these people have lost their fucking minds. There's no sitting at the table anymore.
a month or something on that one drama. And so I posted like a snippet of a bunch of his videos, and I think it said something like, "I wish I could do this. I wish I could do this with Dream," or some bullshit like that. Like, "Wow, this guy really made it," or something. And then he reaches out to me. He's like, "Yo, are you joking? Like, are you actually serious? Like, you actually making fun of me or something like that?" I'm like, "I'm just making a joke. Like, it's not that deep." And that's what started our whole feud. Was that one tweet, that one like little joke tweet. And then he noticed, oh wait, this person's kind of mentally ill. Let me like fuck up their entire career. I wish I had never engaged with Lyrics. Honestly, it wasn't worth it. But like, this is a pattern of behavior from him, and I think it's something he should stop doing.
Wait, hold on. Let me play that back.
Month or something on that one drama. And so I posted like a snippet of a bunch of his videos, and I think it said something like, "I wish I could do this. I wish I could do this with Dream," or some bullshit like that. Like, "Wow, this guy really made it," or something. And then he reaches out to me. He's like, "Yo, are you joking? Like, are you actually serious? Like, you actually making fun of me or something like that?" I'm like, "I'm just making a joke. Like, it's
Then
not."
why
It's not
would
that
he
deep."
reach
That's what started our whole feud. Was that one tweet, that one like little joke tweet. And then he noticed, oh wait, this person's kind of mentally ill. Let me like fuck up their entire career. I wish I had never engaged.
Why
with
would he?
Lyrics,
That's so
honestly. It wasn't worth
cringe,
it, but
dude.
like, this is a pattern of behavior from him, and I think it's something he should stop doing. Like, if I could give advice to Lyrics, just let things be.
No, that's totally cringe on Jalen's part, but like that's also like super cringe on like Lyrics' part that he felt the need to like reach out. Like, are you making fun of me?
Just let it be, because people like Rose, they're just going to post everything you say and make content out of it, and then you're going to have people like Chud Logic laughing at you. And that's not what you want. Just focus on your own shit.
I do think he's just trying to keep me quiet about the whole thing. On April 13th, Liam messaged me once again, acting confused as to why I would have an issue with him, thinking that our brief conversations that we had squashed all the beef. And apparently, it's weird that I still, have feelings about all of this.
Oh my God, I want Rose Malay to talk. Oh, you're such a fucking. Come on, put the testosterone back on. No
Now
more
wait a
testosterone.
minute, Larry. See, that's not.
I'm only 5 years older than you, and I hardly remember pre-Trump Republicans. Definitely something that young people, unfortunately, I come from a family of like Republicans, and they all were like pre-Trump Republicans. Even during Trump's like first fucking term, after January 6th, they stopped supporting this guy like completely. But now something with the second term, I don't know what. Like a lot of like, unfortunately, a lot of like mostly extended family, but a lot of people I know have like just become like hardline fucking Trump, and like I don't recognize like the people I'm talking to sometimes, the shit they're justifying. Like they're like jumping through like mental fucking hoops to like justify the shit this guy's doing.
Saying that's not cool.
So I responded to him. I just saw that Content Cop was coming back, and I saw that clip, and it reminded me of that, so I just vented. Nobody saw that, though, and I think it's crazy that somehow your friend found that random tweet.
Right.
Sorry, though. Are we cool?
Oh no, we can't possibly have these new people who are making queer art of me know that I'm an edgy boy. Uh-oh. Just fucking own it, you pussy.
This guy's such a good gig going. This guy live streams, and people pay him thousands of dollars to see his reactions to listening to album of the week. All you have to do is live stream. People pay you for a specific album. People pay you to just listen to some shit and give you retarded thoughts. Dude, that's what I mean. This is such a fucking good gig. I gotta invade the space. Dude, I got invaded.
Bro, you didn't invade the space invaded you. And from all accounts, you're some wretched little soy bitch now. To placate your fucking female fan base. Oh god, it's so wretched, dude.
Space, come on, man.
Honestly, what's the difference? Like, what's the difference between catering to a horrible female fan base, catering to these, like, disgusting fucking incels in your chat, dude?
Okay, I
Like-
wouldn't take it that far, these disgusting fucking incels. But I actually, this might surprise you, I actually agree with Jalen on, like, the general premise. I actually, talking to Lyrics more, I think it was probably the other way around. A little bit, right? I think he's not fully genuine maybe with this, but he did actively kind of play up aspects of his personality to placate the other side. So he now has a new fan base that's supporting him, and he's now placating them. And I also think, to some extent, right, I think Chud will maybe admit this himself. I think Chud does have, like, a sizable portion of it. Chud's a lefty, right? But he has a sizable portion of his audience that is conservative. And I think sometimes he'll cover certain stories or, like, shit on lefty, which is fine, right? But to sometimes maybe placate that audience a little bit. To be fair to Chud, he does say a ton of shit that makes his audience mad. Relating to, like, lefty takes or whatever the fuck. But, like, yeah, everyone is placating their audience. The issue here is that Lyrics is placating an audience that's, like, antithetical to somebody like Chud's.
Say what you will about Lyrics, and you can say he's cringe, like he's being fake, he's being soy, or whatever the fuck. But, like, these people in your chat are so much worse than the people in Lyrics' chat. Like, I can guarantee it. I've just been glancing at his chat every once in a while, and these people are fucking awful. You cater to these people, man. That's what you do. So I don't think you have any space to criticize the people that Lyrics caters to, because you do the same shit. You do the same exact shit, and your audience is so much worse.
Yes, that is correct. The entire Liam Donovan channel was created by Lyrics because he was upset that Brad was complaining. It was such an easy gig, and he saw it as easy money. I know.
Honestly, good for him. Like, good for him. That's smart. That's like business-minded. Good on him. He saw an opportunity. He fucking took it. That's genius as hell. Wish I could find my own kind of wave. Then I would.
I actually don't disagree. I don't disagree as much as I thought I would with Jalen on this one at all. Actually, I think that I think Jalen is obviously, the problem is Jalen's, like, super cringe going the way she goes about it, and, like, sounds super bitter. But, like, you're not, people aren't gonna like this. I actually don't really disagree with Jalen on this, like, position.
Have to work like a shitty normal job. I'm gonna have to work a shitty normal job. I made 100K in a year making shitty videos about Minecraft Dream, and for some reason that wasn't enough for me. I had to, like, I craved the validation of people like Augie RC and his community. That was my biggest fucking mistake. I should have stayed away from that shit. Wanted their validation so goddamn bad, and I ruined my entire career because of it.
I tried bringing this to Brad's attention, but he's very much in a state right now where the last thing that he wants is to be involved. I did not tell him that I'm making this video. He is not involved with this video, but I wasn't just gonna let this stand.
I wish men weren't so afraid of raping me. Way. It's like a self-report, kind of like nobody wants me to get enough to rape.
Why is it that you say like the worst stuff to me on Twitter and then you invite me to these things?
Because you're a retard and you joined, it makes people make fun of you.
Rose remembers.
Red Haze is so unlikable. We are Team Rose and Leia. Dude, I came around on Rose and Leia. Usually I was joking about her. What about Rose? It's not.
You're jumping the gun. He's not that soy. He's a little bit softer, but he still acts like a jerk and says what he wants. It gets buried by his chat for his opinions on pop music.
Yeah, I don't think, like, I think he is trying to placate his audience to some extent, but I really don't think it's, like, as substantial as, like, Chud or other people are making it out to be. And if anything, I think, like, the issue is really not that he's placating his audience. If we were to concede on that point, the issue is he's placating an audience that you find, like, soy. But, like, everyone is placating their audience if it gets them the bag.
Fair, I haven't, like, watched his content. I've seen it.
Then why are you making this whole video in the first place? You don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. To be honest,
I mean, both of you are not all up there to be. I don't know what that means. Are you saying I'm insane? Because that is correct. I am, like, completely insane.
Actually haven't even watched his content. I'm just making up a fucking narrative because I'm jealous about this guy. Why did you make a video saying he's trying to hide from his pedophilic past? Like, that shit's fucked up, man. That is fucked up. This guy is disingenuous as fuck. Like, Jesus Christ, you're ruining. How old is Lyrics? He's like 22.
All right, now the videos become soy.
21. Like, you're trying to ruin
Chud's obviously being, like, provocative, and
21
Chud doesn't even title his own videos.
Old kid's life, basically. That's what this title does. I mean, I assume Liam Donovan is his full name, and you're tying him with the pedophilic past. Like, that's fucked up.
Liam Donovan is not his full name, but, like, yeah, the title is definitely, like, done in a way where it is meant to, so, like, his new fan base sees it, right?
Capacity. I'm willing to grant a bit of grace that maybe I could be misjudging this, but I've seen a lot of reviews. I'm not sure. I think this narrative that he's become a bit Brad Taste-esque to placate the fan base is more legitimate, but I'll bear that.
I don't think Chud has, like, the best takeaway from this one, to be honest.
Rose and Leia. He's talking about Rose and Leia? Oh, wait, really? Oh, that's really. Rose and Leia was not in that vid.
Rose remembers.
But, you know, let's be charitable today. I mean, maybe my comments just really upset Liam. Maybe.
£4.99 from Infixed. Reacception. Yeah, this is Chud's, like, biggest pet peeve. We got me reacting to Jalen, reacting to Chud, reacting to Lyrics, reacting to Rose reacting to Rose
What
Millette.
trying to do there in that song? Literally bring women from Ethiopia to America so he can commit some of the worst crimes on earth to those women, and sometimes
The worst crimes. Dude, he makes me want to defend R. Kelly.
Surely he wouldn't go on and have a debate where he downplays sexual assaults. No, he would never.
If he stopped.
Yeah, but she said he tried to force her head down lyrics.
Just because you didn't go through with the rape lyrics doesn't mean it's not sexual assault, dude.
Now, yeah, we've got 4 people. Dude, there's so many people. Nobody's gonna actually know like who's who.
If he stopped, she said,
Is this Salvo? Was he debating Salvo? And Salvo actually looks
Yeah,
like
he-
he looks like the one against rape in this situation.
That's Michael
Yeah.
Alberta.
You're more the whole situation. Yes. So to try to ruin this guy's life over being a dick, we're gonna ruin your life now when trying to get head from his girlfriend. To ruin this guy's life and act like this is sexual assault, a huge morally weighted claim, is absurd. I know.
Oh, it's about
Guy's life
Super Mega.
over being a
Is he
dick,
trying to give him the Super Mega stuff?
making the conclusion that this disgusting bitch is trying to ruin.
Lyrics, his problem as well was like, because after the Slazo shit happened, you had some people that now like went completely in the opposite direction, where you don't have to immediately believe all accusers and take a position, but like there were some people that it felt like would just like really force themselves to take the opposite position and like try to poke any like hole in an accuser's like story, or like overly fucking scrutinize them, and it felt like Lyrics like completely pivoted to that other side.
Disgusting bitch.
Absolutely. This is the easiest bullet. Don't talk about women like that.
Lyrics, when you come out swinging when you're calling her a disgusting bitch, and it's not sexual assault, it's a common
Oh, don't talk about women like that. Fuck off.
sexual
Shut up.
You're being awfully vicious. I do think
you're
you're calling her a bitch.
But look, I get that people like you just try to dismiss this as having a dark and
Sorry, Lyrics was completely correct about the situation. Anyway, nonetheless.
Really, he was? Really, that's your take? Of course it is.
Coverage of that if you're interested.
empty past. Where's the joke, dude? Where's the haha, the funny?
He
You're
was
just
right about
defending
that.
rape. Any criticism
He
of
was
anything
correct.
that I've ever said applies to this guy 10 times over.
I said the shit that I said because I was groomed. What's your excuse?
But believe it or not, that's not even scratching the surface. Liam often has a pattern of saying weird things, getting exposed.
Okay, well that doesn't like justify saying it.
Honestly, I hate when people use
I think
that
we
as
should
an
just
excuse.
react to
yeah,
the
when I was
video
a kid,
like
I got
this.
groomed, so you know what? I can just be racist. I can just support rape, and I can be a terrorist. It's like, okay, I get it. Like, you were groomed, okay, but like, you still need to take some responsibility. I mean, Jesus Christ, everything on the internet is fucking grooming. Like, was I groomed because I watched iDubbbz when I was like 13, 14 years old, and then I started saying the N-word because iDubbbz said it was cool and based, and then all the commentary YouTubers I watched also said the N-word, and they also said it was cool and based, and then I started saying it and became part of my like edgy vocabulary because I thought it was a funny, epic thing to say. Was I groomed? Maybe I was, but like, also, you have to take
Okay,
personal
this is
responsibility for
total cope. And the thing with Jalen too is Jalen can't fall back on the, well, I thought it was funny cope. Jalen was like using it in a context where it wasn't even like meant to be taken as, it wasn't even like intended to be a joke, like an actual like, to like, Jalen like used it to actually like insult someone, that she believed to be like black at the time. Like it wasn't even like a, you can't even use the edgy cope with that one.
that. You can't just say, oh, I was groomed. I was groomed. Lyrics was probably groomed too. He was groomed by Leafy is here. He's groomed by Turkey Tom. All these people groomed him. I mean, it's a different thing, obviously. But like,
All right, this is boring as fuck. We're not. We basically finished it. I don't care. All right, well that's Jalen, everybody. Yeah, we actually have more. Bobby tent. Thanks for reminding me. My mate Cam. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've got some new stunning images of Manshi. Completely slayed. Wait, I don't want to accidentally dox myself. Oh, I have to log in. I don't want to log in. Can somebody just like send these images and topic suggestions? I don't want, I can't, just send the images and topic suggestions. But apparently, I've received word, allegedly, that Manshi has actually changed. So Boblax changed his name to Joshi at one point, and I guess right-click the post and new tab it. Oh, it worked. Thanks. All right, let's look. Salvo pancakes with the heart eyes. Okay. The images are very ugly, but that's not even like the only thing to say here. The only thing to say, who engages with Instagram like this? I've never seen someone on Instagram that like they like post pictures of themselves like out doing something. Like I don't understand like this new meta of like Bobby's new meta of like taking the most like decrepit like images from like inside of like your room that you haven't left, not even your room, inside like the fucking homeless shelter, the room in your homeless shelter that you haven't left in like a week. You're not even out doing anything. There's like nothing to show here. So I feel like this is just like to garner some sort of reaction, or I don't fucking know. Slay. What the fuck? Okay. This is 150% to garner some sort of reaction. I don't understand because if you look at like all of this person's posts, it's just like after Bobby started okay, actually to be fair, Boblax was actually posting like this pre-transition. But like I don't who posts like that. See more from Boblax? I think I'll pass. Thank you though. You're literally making him bricked. Okay. What is this? Is this like a baboon? Why was this put in topics? Honestly, W topic suggestion. Is that like a mandrill? It's like a baboon or like a man, but mandrills have like a painted face, right? W topic suggestion. W topic suggestion. All right. I might do like a stream on Kick where we just spend the whole stream like watching like a David Attenborough like documentary. Honestly, I'd like rather do that than this shit. All right, let's get back to this Ichido tent. For those of you that missed like the context from last night, essentially Ichido was like raging at me through chat to like air out the grievances we had. And then Queeman streamed about it, and Ichido called into Queeman's stream. He like had a discussion with Morale about like Morale's like prior like claims about him. And I actually realized in hindsight, you know, I had that big debate with Morale. I realized in hindsight, Morale actually had a point there. He just doesn't know how to word it. So he like worded it so poorly. To any reasonable outsider, it would look like he was making some sort of allegation of like predation. I think Morale's point is that if I was steel manning his point and being generous, I think Morale's point was that Ichido wanted a 16-year-old to do something embarrassing so that he could use it for content, right? And the 16-year-old maybe is like a fan of his and would like be willing to embarrass themselves without understanding the implications of it, and like having them embarrass themselves and they don't fully realize what they're doing might be like exploitative in like a content and like embarrassment sense, not in like a sexual sense. But when you're whenever you're talking about like inappropriate behavior or bad behavior involving a minor, right? If you're using words like exploitation, taking advantage, etc., the takeaway from that is going to be you're speaking about something predatory or sexual. So it is your responsibility when you're like covering that kind of stuff to make sure that people understand that that's not what you're saying. Morale was like wording his position like horribly. Like,
You know, for a given amount of time every week that he streams, he's going to dedicate like some of that to just like going through all my videos and like shitting on me, and that's
not true. He's talking about me again. Not true, like at all. Every week I stream. I was apparently pulling. No, I actually just like stopped after a while. Because it got like pretty uninteresting, and I even said that. And then you spoke about me, so I kept covering you.
Was basically when I was just like, all right, what are we doing here, right? And it's been like that for like 5 months, and then it kind of came to a boiling point when I was streaming because
it's not been like that for 5 months, like at all. I actually like stopped covering you for the most part, and then. I stopped covering him for the most part, and then what happened was, people were raiding him. He thought that I was responsible for the raid. For those of you that missed last night, that I was responsible for the raid, and like took the time to like shit on me and like get mad at me for like bring up a point like I'm upset that Aiden like platformed misinformation about me in regards to the fact that Morale called in, made that claim about him, and then I refuted Morale's claim. But apparently that's me platforming misinformation, even though I had no idea what Morale was like calling in about. I don't think Ichido actually is mad about that. I think Ichido is sensitive to the jokes I made and has to come up with a reason for why he's angry at me. So he's just like pulling at whatever point he could grasp, because he knows it will be like cringe to say, yeah, I'm mad that he's like covering me or the jokes he's making.
It was like, 5 months of just basically his fan base like going to my chat and him farming me and stuff. And I don't really understand, you know, what he was trying to get from it. And yeah, that's kind of brings us to
content, and you reacted and then gave me more content even when I stopped covering you. It's like very obvious what I was looking for, and you just like played in every single fucking time because you're like super sensitive. And to clarify, he's been using this like thing of like, I hate him. He wants to like get rid of the beef between us. I've always been nice to you, Aiden. Why do you hate me? And I've said this before. I don't hate him. I don't hate him. He's just very sensitive, right? Has an ego, and that makes like that. And I lost respect for him because of the Sniper Wolf shit, and that also makes him like a good candidate for somebody to make content about, right?
today.
Okay. Have you got any ideas what maybe Aiden finds so either annoying or aggravating, or what's drawing Aiden to covering you so much, you think?
Good question. I know the answer. I think it's because I with him specifically, he's had a very easy time milking me, right? And no homo. I think
that is 150% accurate. That's the most accurate thing he's ever said. Yes. Very true. And then he's going to say, oh, so you admit it now? I've always admitted it. I've always admitted I use you for content. I've always admitted that. Yeah, I make content, right? If there's content there, I'm going to take advantage of that. You do the same shit, right? But that is like totally true. That's completely true.
What happened is like, because I've known him IRL and like I think the relationship is more personal between him and I, that I'm more inclined to actually respond to him and address him. And so, whereas like if someone just raised my chat,
you actually don't have to respond to or address me at all, and we were not that close, right? We've met IRL because he was at events that I was at. We were both mutually there, but no, we're not that close. We're never that close.
I'll just ban them. I don't really care who they are. Him, I actually, with the personal relationship, it kind of is like, okay, I'm actually more likely to respond to him because I know him.
That's not true either. Hold on. There's a clip. Where is it? That's not true either. He's like, oh, the only reason I'm responding and giving him that content is because I know him personally, even though I know that he's using me for content. You don't know me like personally, but also, using like, that's not why you're responding. You're responding because you don't have self-control, because you've done it before to people that were not me, and hold on. I think he thinks Lumpy Willy is me.
Right, this is just
to be honest. But like, I thought this was, I still think this was a little played up, right? I do think this was played up a bit. But like, there was probably some like genuine disgruntlement there, and he like got mad at Lumpy or something.
So here's the update. Ichido, you're actually negative IQ. You clearly have no idea how being drunk works. Yo, Lumpy Willy, I'm gonna say this, okay? Listen to me. Listen to me.
This part is played up.
You are fucking retarded. You're a retarded person in my chat. You're typing, and I can hear how retarded you are by the way you're typing. You are the dumbest motherfucker I've ever talked to. You wanna see something, bro? You're fucking like, you're 19 years old or something. Okay. Let's do a little fucking game right here, okay? Read this to me.
Was there a raid? What do you mean, was there a raid?
Vodka. You understand? You understand how? You see this? It's been drank. I understand how being drunk works. Are you fucking stupid? Like, this actual monkey's in my chat.
Why are you drinking? Why are you drinking on stream, by the way? That's just like a horrible idea. If you're with somebody on your stream, like, if you're co-streaming with somebody or whatever, and you guys are doing like a long stream for the night, and you guys like are like watching funny videos or something, and you want to like have like a little bit to drink on stream, whatever, right? Or like, or do a drinking stream where like people donate for you to take another shot. I don't know. I don't think that's a great idea, but that's whatever. Why are you just like casually drinking like on stream? Like, I just feel like that's like a really unhealthy way to like engage with alcohol.
Chat talking about, you clearly don't know how being drunk works. Hey, dumbass, you're fucking like 17 years old. Shut your bitch ass up and get out of my chat. Fucking retard. It's fucking Wednesday morning. Go to school.
He's not actually, he is angry at this, but he's not like, this part is like totally played up.
I would love to have an actual convo with you. Hey, guess what? I wouldn't.
He's trying to look cool, like I know what he's doing.
This shows me you're inept. You think I want to talk to me. Like, I don't want to talk to you. I would love to have an actual convo with you. I wouldn't. Like, that's what I'm saying. You're saying, oh, I'd love to talk.
But I think this comment did kind of piss him off a little bit, and he is like, even when it was. But by the way, even when I wasn't in chat, he was still responding to like people that went in and like tried to raid, trying to act on my behalf, even though I never encouraged that. So it's not just that like this is like total cope that, oh, it's because we have like some like history. That's why I feel the need to respond to him, even though I know he's using me for content. You could like, if that were the case, he knows my Discord. You could just DM me offline. You're like, you just don't have like, self-control, right? Just like be honest about that.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, so he was able to sort of like bait you and fuck with you because
exactly.
you already knew him, right?
Yeah, and that's a character flaw of mine. Where if I know someone in person and I've had
that's total. I knew this guy. That's why it's different. He's been like playing. I would love to like someone should like quiz him on like what some of my interests are. What he doesn't know anything about me. We've like casually met like twice because I was with other people, and like we've known each other like in this space for like a few years, but that was like on and off talking, and like half that time it was like in a negative context. There are plenty of people I've known longer than him that would never consider me like somebody they're close with, right?
Beyond surface level relationship with them, I take what they say more seriously. I think that's something that everybody has, right?
Sure. I feel like, is there anything in your content that Aiden might have an issue with, or do you think it's just specifically the personal thing that's led to this?
Well, it's interesting because the reality is my content's been pretty much the same.
His content's dog shit, but I have no issue with dog shit content. I've said this like 800,000 times, right? I have friends that make content like his that's totally dog shit. I don't cover them. Why do I not cover them? Because it's one thing to, if you're making dog shit content to get the bag and you're just sloppy and like the quality of the video, I don't care, right? I don't care. I don't expect like a fucking McDonald's employee to be passionate about making burgers. If you're making a lot of money doing something, and even if you're not like particularly super interested in it, go get your bag. The problem is he got sloppy with his research, was unable to concede, but also he makes shit content and has an ego. That's the thing I don't like the combination of, right?
And it only kind of started happening that he started like, shitting on my content and getting like these responses from me after the like Sniper Wolf stuff, basically, if that makes sense.
By the way, quick shill, because viewership is going up. We have 25 likes, but about 120 people watching. So if you want to support the stream, make sure to like the stream. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't. And also, we now have super chats. So if you want to support the channel, as always, you can donate. Streamlabs link in the description. If you can't donate through Streamlabs, you could donate now through super chats and join the Reddit, join the Discord.
Right.
So it sort of felt like opportunistic, where while this guy, kick him while he's down, basically, while he's getting shit on and people have turned on him for his.
That's a total cope as well, right? Because I was late to the Sniper Wolf discourse. I was late to this was like a month after the fact. Nobody was even like really talking about him anymore, right? So he just was opportunistic, kick him while he's down. That was my first time seeing that. It's not that I kicked you while you're down. I kicked you because I saw that your inability to concede to such an obvious mistake, and I legitimately lost respect for you. It's not because it was a bandwagon. If that were true, I'd be like jumping on the hate Hassan Piker fucking bandwagon right now. I'm not. The issue is there was genuine criticism to be made against you, and you had like a total lack of a willingness to like concede.
His coverage of Sniper Wolf, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to go through all of his videos and nitpick certain things just to farm hate. And that's
true. Like you had an unwillingness to concede on the Sniper Wolf shit. I lost genuine respect for you, and then you know what? Why not? I'll use like your cringe videos for content. Sure.
Fine, but I think that it's like, I'm like, all right, well, I thought we were, like, of all the people to do that, you wouldn't expect it to be someone who you've had a friendly relationship with, right?
So friendly. He's not gonna say friends because he knows that would be a lie. We've spoken like twice in the span of a year. Okay, he knows that would be a lie. He's overplaying. He keeps falling back on. He's overplaying the extent of in which I knew him. Okay, if you were to listen to like the way he describes how he knew me, you would think we were we stormed the beaches of fucking Normandy together. It's not true. It's just not true.
Right.
Yeah, sure. I mean, sometimes. I mean, it's content creation, so I mean, it's gonna be anyone, right? I think if you're friends with commentary, I think there's a strange standard that I think maybe you might have, where a lot of commentary YouTubers think that, oh well, we're all friends, so don't cover each other. But it's like, then I think
I've never adhered to that. I've never adhered to that. I've gone after Augie, even though we're good friends. When I thought he's had a shit take, and then so obviously I'm gonna like go after someone like a Cheeto when I think he's like doing shitty things or I can use for content. If especially like if we're not even friends, we're not even friends. Even if we were, I'd still probably make content on him, right?
No, not really. Not that. Not that he wouldn't cover me, because he was in his right to cover the Sniper Wolf stuff. But I would say the farming.
The issue is not that he makes content on me. The issue is just, and then like proceeds to like give arguments that always boil down to like taking issue with me covering him.
Farming was when I was sort of confused as to the
And keep in mind, he's farmed people like Chris Tyson. He's farmed people like, I mean, what he made like fucking 10 videos on Chris Tyson and then tried to get other people to make videos on it. Like the farming aspect of it, like he does the same thing and he knows he does the same thing. So he's going to say, well, it's different because we're close or whatever. And it's like, we're not actually at all.
Like, cause there's a point where it's like, you can hold your friends accountable and you can call them out. But then I think if you're just, it goes from like accountability to basically just like preying on someone's downfall, right?
Yeah, I feel like I'm trying to like almost present Aiden.
Wino members, I have to set it up. I keep forgetting.
Criticisms for him here, but I don't actually know what they are. So I kind of wish he was here to call in, but I don't.
One of the things he said about me, and this is like something that I remember he said because I'd asked him like what actually is the problem, is that he said that I have a huge ego or something like that, right? And I think that it's interesting because I think if you look at most people who he's interacted with who have had similar blunders, they also have huge egos. And
who is he talking about?
Know them because I've been in the rooms with them, and it's just.
Who is he talking about? I'm actually like curious.
That to me is not sufficient.
Anyone he's like actually like referring to that I could think of has like given some sort of concession. I've never seen for like a mistake. I've never seen someone be as unwilling to make a basic concession as he was. I don't think there's like any good examples.
Reasoning because it's just.
Nicholas Diorio has a big ego. That's true. But a lot of Diorio's coverage, the issues, the criticism is relating to like his extrapolations and his opinions, and you can feel like he's a little disingenuous in how he goes about it. There's nothing that I can remember, and I could be off on this, where Nick just like blatantly like gave out something like that was totally like completely false, like information, and then refuse to like retract it or like remove it or whatever, right?
I've heard him call you a fence sitter as well at some point. What do you think of that?
Fence sitter, a fence sitter.
That you may. I think he would say something like, if I really had to try, I thought I remember hearing him say something. He was saying that you make.
Well, because my criticism of him, and when I was watching his like political content, I didn't think that like. I didn't know yet that he was watching Asmongold, right? But I'm like, dude, he's like trying to be Asmon so fucking hard here. It's so obvious. And now he admits Asmongold is one of his like favorite sources of like news. And it's like, okay, that's probably why I think he's a fence sitter because, and it's not even fence sitting, actually. That's probably not even a good word because like Asmon doesn't even fence sit. Asmon will like take like the dumbest fucking positions alive. There's a better word than fence sitting where it's like, what would be a good example? I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for here, but like Ichido has a take like, I think the fence sitting is the wrong word. I think the reason that Trump won is because people were mad about the price of eggs or whatever the fuck. And it's like the most like populist, like fucking like bare bones talking points, like not really having like a strong opinion on anything.
Like fence sitting content, you're trying to do like the Asmongold thing where you go as long as possible without taking a position and just sort of react to like, oh,
he's not, and he's not outright, he wasn't outright saying that he liked Trump in that discussion, by the way. Asmon, I'll give Asmon credit. Asmon actually stands by for the most part, the stupid ass shit he says. Like, he'll probably admit, right? Doesn't he admit he likes Trump?
Like go, wow, whoa, sort of thing.
Someone wrote Googling fence sitter. No, I don't think I'm a fence sitter. I think I've said things that I believe in pretty firmly. I don't know where I'm fence sitting. I guess like if the content isn't, I mean, because, I think my content's a mix of internet figures and talking about drama regarding them, a little bit of politics, a little bit of gaming. So it kind of is all over the place.
You're a drama channel. He doesn't want to, he's reached a point, and it was a point that I reached, right? It's a point that I reached where I don't think he likes the content that he makes, and like being known as the guy that like only covers like trending topics and doesn't have like a fan base or viewership of his own, and he really wants that now. So he's gonna try to like pretend like he's not the guy that only has a fan base because of the topics he's covering and not him. That's why like when he was arguing with me through his stream, he was saying things like, "Yeah, dude, I live stream for a living." No, you don't. You don't. You're not known for live streaming. You get 101 viewers. You have 101 viewers in the daytime. I have 100. I don't like to use the viewer like count or whatever the fuck, but like I have 126 at what? At 1 a.m. right? So that's not what you're known for. That's not what you do for a living, right? You're known for, and at 500,000 subs, for covering trending topics. You just don't want to admit that. And honestly, I get that. I got kind of like embarrassed with the fucking like path my channel was going like when I was a kid or whatever the fuck. The thing is, I was still in school, and I wasn't reliant on that as like my job, and I just stopped doing it.
And so I don't think there's your chat's actually really funny. I think that maybe I have fence sat before, but I don't really fence it, to be honest with you. Like if I go to my channel here, I mean I'll just pull it up. There's nothing I've done recently that's been very fence sittery.
Embarrassed is probably the wrong word. Unhappy. I didn't want to do this for like I didn't want to do this in the long run, and believe it or not, I actually like make more money, generally consistent money, doing this than I did off of a fucking 800,000 sub channel. That's probably because most of the stuff I was covering got claimed. But
matter of fact, like the only time I've really fence sat, right? I mean, I don't know if you're actually gonna have time to get into the Nux Taku debate.
I enjoy this way more than like my 800,000 sub channel.
But the moment you hopped in my chat, the moment that you got into my chat, like I was actually, because wasn't I like pushing back on what he was saying? I don't know much about what's happening.
He was pushing back. The problem is I'll give him credit. He did like give pushback. The issue is he's so uninformed about like the fucking Israel-Palestine conflict that he just like couldn't give like Nux would just like say shit that was like blatantly untrue, and he would let him get away with it because he's uninformed. Like what he should have done, right? What he probably should have done is like had someone come on that actually like knew about this and could like accurately like refute the shit Nux was saying. Like Nux's takes were like so clearly false that like even for like a fence sitter, like it would be kind of hard to ignore. So he did give him pushback on like some of the insane shit he said
between Israel and Palestine in terms of ongoing.
It seemed like you didn't
conflict.
really. Nux was saying things you didn't have any context for them, so
that's
you
not
couldn't really.
That's not fence sitting, right?
No, it was just like you just didn't have the information on hand to argue with what he was saying. So
exactly. And so like I'm gonna look at my channel right now, right, where it's like I'm talking about Dave Portnoy. Do you know what happened with Dave Portnoy?
Yeah, you got some minor anti-Semitic incident, and then freaked out on it on Twitter or whatever.
Exactly. I took the position that was totally uncalled for. That's not fence sitter. I've talked about Lily Tino and how this is a transgender influencer who's just being fucking out of pocket.
Wait, does he think like if you're just generally calling someone a fence sitter, you mean they never have like I don't think there's an example. Like you have to have some mental illness to not have an opinion on like anything, right? You can be a fence sitter and still have some like this doesn't mean you're always sitting on the fence. Like I'm not a fence sitter because I do have opinions. Okay, that's not what. $5 from Joe Savage. Take my money, Aiden. Thank you so much. Fuck Carol Baskin. Free my buddy Joe. $5. Support is much appreciated. Oh, we got to set up another. Okay.
Pocket and needs to be arrested. Saying you need to be arrested, that's a pretty firm take. And so I'm not fence sitting on the iDub stuff. I'm not fence sitting on Nintendo. I'm not fence sitting on.
Yeah, here's all these examples of opinions I have. Therefore, I'm not a fence sitter. I don't think there's like that's such a weird way of contesting that claim. I don't even know if I fully stand by like fence sitting. I don't know if that's the most accurate word I can use, right?
Okay, it's not like all these things. You can go through my channel.
He just takes like very easy positions, or like very populist positions, like the shit like Trump won because people were mad about the price of eggs. That's not why he won. Like, if you're a fucking populist that watches, like, Joe Rogan and Asmongold or some shit, you might think that's why he won.
Like, I mean, like, again, I know you're just displaying something you've heard him say, but I'm not a fence sitter. And also, I'm not nearly as...
what I would say is, sorry, if I'm going to try and...
let him... Why'd you interrupt? I wanted to hear what he's about to say.
Going. Those are all quite easy topics to have a safe take on. You can...
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Pretty easy to just say
Being a fence sitter doesn't mean you don't have an opinion on anything.
throw
The
them
Dave Portnoy
back.
thing?
To say, are they saying the Dave Portnoy thing? Yeah. I think-
Online, on the internet, absolutely. To say, yeah, he's overreacting. We shouldn't ruin a kid's life over like an edgy joke, which I don't think the kid was joking, to be honest. But like, I like agree like that. If I was to go watch his video on that, that was probably his like position, right? That's not like a super like controversial position to have on the internet.
I think saying like putting up sign. What was it? Someone put up a sign saying "fuck the Jews."
You think that's
like,
not
this isn't a tricky. Like for most people, "fuck the Jews" is pretty clearly anti-Semitic. You're not really gonna come under any fire for saying "fuck the Jews" is bad. Same
No,
as saying
I was
"throw them
taking the
bad."
stance
Or...
that Dave Portnoy overreacted.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Queenman misinterpreted.
Oh. Okay.
But even then, in like the online space, I think you can absolutely like, for somebody who's like a fucking chud audience or whatever the fuck of like chud 9-year-olds to say like he was making an edgy joke, like free speech, whatever. Like that's probably along the lines of what he said. I think that's also a fence sitter position. Like that could be totally like consistent with somebody who like fence sits, because that wouldn't be like a super like hard position to take on the internet.
I mean, maybe there's a. I don't know what the Discord's like.
No, that's definitely not fence sitter.
Yeah, no,
I'm getting
I'd say
pushback
that
for
that's more difficult to navigate for sure.
I mean, look, bro. I mean, I get that you don't really know my
Yes,
content.
chud 9-year-old. That's the most accurate description I've ever heard.
That's fine. You're not expected to, but I definitely. I mean, obviously, look, and I'll keep it a buck. Yeah, I farm some things that I know are easy. If I make fun of someone who's 500 pounds and they say they're healthy, that's like you can be fucking zanned out and think, oh, this guy's really smart.
You're a topic creator. Nobody watches for you. They watch for your topics. We get that. You want to get your bag.
Like, yeah, okay, fine. I make stuff, if that's like low barrel, then, Reds do or whatever. It's
Yeah.
fine. I don't care. I mean, we all play the game, but to act like that's all I do is just not
Sure.
true.
Okay, there are other things he does, but like those things are just him skinwalking like the person he's watching at the time, and that's not, nobody knows him for that. I mean, it's evident by the fact that he's getting 101 views on like a 500k sub channel.
Sure. Yeah, like I said, I'm not Aiden, so I can't really make his argument for him. I'm just trying to spitball where I think it would go.
All good, bro.
So I haven't gotten to Nuxtaki stuff yet.
Go for
What do
it.
you think
Actually,
of
what do you think about the Israel
Nuxtaki
stuff?
generally? What do I think about Israel?
Yeah.
I was.
Or what's happening in the Middle East? Do you
I've-
do politics? I don't really know. What do you do? But I don't.
Yeah.
I saw you were like, I got your stream recommended. I don't really know anything about you, but then I kind of looked at what your thumbnails are fucking hilarious, by the way.
Thanks. So
Dick
I do like.
sucking.
Do you do these yourself?
Dick sucking.
No, I've got an editor. So
So funny.
I do. Yeah, like mainly politics, drama, and politics related.
Did he end? Did who end? Did who end? Who are we talking about?
Drama sort of stuff.
Okay. Is this your full-time job?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Make enough of the
All right,
streams. So
All right. Well, I gotta go piss, but yeah, to summarize what you think for the Israel-Palestine stuff. I'll be back in 30 seconds.
okay. I'm less Israel supportive as it goes on. Okay, I'm assuming you can still hear me.
They left.
How's it going, guys? I'll talk to chat ways.
Why are you
Vegeta,
back?
could I make a request?
Okay.
It's my friend's birthday. Could you guys just say like happy birthday, Marcus?
Marcus.
He's my friend.
Marcus is another
Why are you
streamer called
laughing?
March Baby.
I don't know who that is. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
say happy birthday.
What the fuck?
Okay, hold on. So why
Okay,
are
okay.
you? So then, what's up with Israel and Palestine?
Yeah. So
Okay.
so yeah, I thought there was some level of military action was probably justified, but as it's gone on, less and less supportive of Israel, like a lot of people, I think.
Got you. That makes sense.
You say happy birthday, Marcus. I already said it. Happy birthday, Marcus. Teehee. Teehee. I said happy birthday.
So when Nuxtaku was saying, I mean, I did think toward the end of the conversation, there was one thing that he said that I thought was pretty, like looking back, I think the way that he framed it was maybe not disingenuous, but he said that he kind of definitively knew that this person was a Hamas sniper.
Happy
but there
birthday,
wasn't
Marcus.
Really, it was
Birthday
kind
cake
of a,
emoji.
like up to interpretation thing, and I didn't like. I mean, I don't like when
He doesn't have any opinions on Israel. I doubt he has any actual opinions on this.
you say something that's definitive that's not definitive.
Yeah, I mean, you asked him for a provable lie.
Very easy position to take. Very easy position. Queeman should ask, so what do you think about Israel-Palestine?
That Hassan told, and what you got was something that is hotly debated, where there's no firm evidence to prove either way, but the accusation hasn't been substantiated. Basically, it's like Israel said these guys are terrorists, we're gonna kill them, and then the guy was like, I'm not a terrorist, they just want to kill me, and then they killed him, and now
Do you think
everyone's
he was
like,
a terrorist or no?
I
Or do you-
don't, I wouldn't draw a firm conclusion. I would
That's
lean
what I'm saying.
away from it personally.
Right. Yeah, I think that with this, I mean, because I don't know if you were going to say that he's 100% not, because that's what Hassan is saying, right? And I don't know if I don't believe Hassan, but
the thing is that
very fence sitter position. What's the deal with Israel Palestine? Am I right? So true. He admits that he doesn't know about it. Okay, that's fair.
Here's the thing: he didn't say. I don't know that Hassan said 100% he's not a terrorist. I think what Hassan probably said, from what I remember, is.
But then, if that's the case, right? Like, I think you should probably. I get it. I don't know if this was like pre-planned or whatever. I get that he had like content and he decided to like capitalize on it. But like, he should have had someone come on who was like more knowledgeable than he was. That's like what I said, right? He's not. I agree. He doesn't know anything about it. But then he should probably have someone who does. So Nux Taku can't just like sit there and like lie.
Basically, like, he is, because he is a journalist. Whether he's a terrorist or not, he is a journalist. It is true to call him a journalist. He might also be a terrorist, but he is a journalist, and he has published articles and everything. So Hassan said he's a journalist, true, who was baselessly accused of being a terrorist by the IDF, true,
right,
and then killed.
Well, just, if he was a terrorist, I think calling him a journalist is a little. I think it's also dishonest, because that's like saying, and I said this in the conversation, that Hitler's a painter.
Yeah, but
right?
So I would agree with you.
I guarantee you, Achito doesn't know what terrorism means. We need to just remove the term terrorism from like any sort of like political discourse, because it's a purely subjective. It's like what is a terrorist, right? It's a very loaded, like, subjective term that's like totally hingent upon like the enemies of the group that is contesting the people being labeled terrorists. I agree. There are a lot of people it's totally accurate to label them terrorists. Al-Qaeda being a very good example. Okay? I totally agree. But the term of like you're sitting here defending a terrorist, as if that's like a thing. No, you have to like elaborate on that. Say you're sitting here defending people responsible for X or responsible for Y. People just throw that word in, and it's like, no, that's like the opinion of like, I don't know how to verbalize this. They throw it in, and it's like a terrorist. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by terrorist in this context? It's a very like loaded word.
If Hassan just said this is a journalist who got targeted by the IDF and killed, he was just a journalist, blah blah blah. What Hassan said was he was a journalist, which is true, and also he was accused by the IDF of being a terrorist. And that is also true. It's not true that he is a terrorist necessarily. We don't know that. You can say definitively that he is a terrorist. What you can say is the IDF accused him of being a terrorist and did not present evidence.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because there are groups that are considered terror organizations by some nations, but not considered terror organizations by others, right? So it's a purely subjective term that's like hingent upon the people that, like, when we're using it in this context, we just mean the U.S. State Department's opinion on this given group, right? And I think throwing that word in there in like a discourse does like an injustice to any like actual engagement with the dialogue, because like we should actually get into the details of why this person is bad, right? They're a terrorist. In what way, right? This person is bad because they, bomb civilians. This person is bad because.
So I have to operate on innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah, exactly. And so, and this is something that happens with Hassan a lot. Is
that do you like Hassan?
I don't really like Hassan. No,
okay. They're totally good points of contention against Hamas, but then like when you're talking about Hamas, be like, oh, you're supporting Hamas, a group that does X, Y, and Z, and then we can go and like actually engage with that, right? We need to like retire the term terrorist from like serious like discussion.
Right.
So I'm like a lib.
Thought terminating, exactly.
I'm not like a lefty like
liberal.
Hassan, but I also fucking hate most of the other libs and shit. So
self-hating liberal, hate to see it.
I don't like Hassan, but a lot of the arguments that are happening right now are like completely dishonest, and no one's actually engaging with Hassan's side of the argument, and no one's even attempting to fact check things either. So like you'll hear people say
he has lied about some stuff. Like, do you think in the conversation the things that Nux Taku brought up that were proven lies?
I only came in towards where I started typing. I hadn't been listening to the whole thing, so I haven't seen that yet. But like there are examples I know of where like, so something I hear Asmongold and Pecktone over the last couple of days repeat again and again and again is that Hassan doesn't accept the UN report on sexual violence in Israel Palestine.
Exactly.
That's not true. Hassan 100% does accept the UN report on sexual violence in into Palestine. The only one that he questioned in that debate with Ethan was these 4 anonymous testimonies that were given to a Israeli outlet that's known for being relatively biased as part of a civil suit that was being filed against the government about Israel's failings on October 7th.
My understanding is that Hassan doesn't deny the occurrence of sexual assault. He denies the occurrence of like sexual assault on a systemic level on October 7th, right? Like systemic sexual assault, because like when you have an army, right? There are lone actors from an army that are going to go in, and I'm not a Hamas supporter, just to be clear. And like, yes, they did like target civilians, 150%, right? But when you have an army, there are lone actors that will commit acts of sexual assault or other egregious actions. The question is, if it's systemic, it's like a policy of like the group as a whole, right? He denies mass sexual assault. What is mass sexual assault? What is mass sexual assault? Like multiple people were sexually assaulted? No, he denies mass rapes as an entirety. Said it himself. Haven't we only like received definitive evidence of like how many occurrences was it? I'll have to read about it. But like, what you had? How many people died that day? We're talking like over 1,000. And there were like an occurrence of. Oh, I don't know. Let's look it up. How many sexual assaults occurred on October 7th? There are reasonable grounds to believe that the conflict-related sexual violence, including rape and gang rape, occurred across multiple occasions in Israel and the Gaza periphery during the attacks of the 7th of October 2023. A senior United Nations official reported to the Security Council today as she presented findings from her visit to Israel and the occupied West Bank, following allegations of brutal sexual violence committed during and in the aftermath of Hamas terror attacks. Okay, is there a number here? 32 interviews they did. Yeah, we're not really getting a whole lot. You're not going to find a number easily? Okay, is there like going to be a range? Like, surely we're making a claim that like something happened in mass. We have like some basis for that, right?
7th, that Israel's own government said we don't want to hash this out in a civil.
You can't depend upon forensic evidence during times of war. If you look at it like that, you won't be able to find rapes. And that's okay. That's not true. You can't depend on forensic evidence in this war because in the Jewish religion, for whatever reason, right? And Queenman was talking about this the other day on his stream. In the Jewish religion, for whatever reason, like extraction of like sperm and like doing a rape kit, which is totally possible, by the way, completely possible to do, in an occurrence like October 7th, where it's a massacre, but by the next day, right, the militants went back into Gaza. So now we're talking about the day of October 7th. We're not talking about the hostage. That's another story, right? But the day itself, the places where people died, the Israeli army had retaken control of those places, right? So if you have bodies of the people that died on that day, you could 150% do forensic evidence, or gather forensic evidence. The problem we have is that because of religious beliefs, they couldn't actually extract that evidence because I guess it's against the religion or whatever. But no, it's totally possible. You can rely on forensic evidence in a case like this.
Court, we want to do this, internally and in criminal courts and stuff. We don't want to do this in a civil court for the first time. The first time we hash out the failures October 7th. So these are 4 anonymous claims.
That's why I said religious customs, man. You said times of war. The time of war hold on. Let me reread what you said. I can't find your Am I missing it? Live chat. due to religious customs. Okay, then that's a different point than saying you can't gather forensic evidence in times of war. Okay, I guess that was the latter part of your sentence.
Of a civil suit, not any criminal investigation, that don't seem to be being prosecuted in any criminal situation, but are simply anonymous sources in a civil suit. And so Hassan says, well, there's not enough, I'm not going to believe that because there's not enough evidence there for me to make a firm conclusion about that, basically. And those are the ones that Hassan was really contesting in that debate. Yet repeatedly, I've heard it said again and again, Hassan denies rapes, Hassan denies rapes, Hassan denies rapes. Ethan exposed him as a rape denier. That didn't really happen. That just didn't really happen in that debate. You can say things about his other statements, other points, but in that debate, that's just not what happened. They accepted all the reasonable evidence that you would expect them to accept.
Right. I think also he did say that there was a specific instance of a woman who had been, during October 7th, kidnapped and brought into a truck, and then she had, I think, been raped, and then she was like bleeding from her vagina, and Hassan had said that
the person that they're talking about, the case they're talking about, unless I'm missing something, the video that people reference, right, and I am not a sexual assault denier from October 7th, right, absolutely happened. It's horrific. Nobody deserves to go through that. Okay? 150%. But the video they're referring to, I think it's the woman with blood on the back of her pants, right? There were cases where people from the festival were like crammed into like compact like rooms to hide, and people in the room died, and you're like sitting on top of like people's blood. So just by virtue of the fact that she has blood on her pants, that is not evidence of like her being sexually assaulted, right? I don't know her name, I think they're also conflating too. The woman thrown in the truck is Shani Luke, right? She didn't have blood on her pants, right? She was just killed. And then the other woman that they're referring to, I think that's the one with the blood on her pants, right?
this was like an inevitable thing that was to happen. So I think whether or not
Israel refuses to let anyone investigate. I don't take the Israeli word either. I'm super skeptical of Israel, but yeah, it's like pretty obvious that at least a few people were probably raped, right? This is not a. The problem you have is there's a conflation of like systemic rape. Or it's like systemic rape, and it's like a Hamas policy, and it's trying to paint like a narrative. These are like. They use like buzzwords like terrorists. They're like, these are, Arab like savages that rape people, like playing onto like stereotypes or whatever of like the group as a whole. And what the group as a whole did was like pretty brutal. But we need to distinguish were these acts of rape by individual lone actors, or were these acts of rape that was like determinate by Hamas policy. And then the other thing you have is that there's also, if you want to make an argument for systemic rape, there's pretty good evidence or a better argument to be made for systemic sexual assault on the Israeli side, because it has been found by several organizations that in Israeli detainment centers and prisons, holding Palestinian prisoners, sexual torture as an interrogation method is actually like super commonly employed. And I think there was even like one like person in the Knesset or whatever that tried to justify it.
I haven't seen enough clips to know if he like fully denies.
You wouldn't be bleeding that much unless they use some kind of. If you're sitting on top of a pool of blood, your pants would have that much blood on them.
Rape on October 7th.
So,
but I do know that he did say that specifically in this case, this was an inevitability, and I think that's pretty tasteless.
Okay, well, why do you think it's wrong or tasteless to say that's inevitability? Why do you think that?
What happened on October 7th was obviously like bad, right? The extent of it, though, especially when it's coming from the Israeli side, there's nothing wrong with scrutinizing that when like on the day, right, when on the day it happened, you were getting reports of like, and to be fair, I don't remember if this was reiterated by Israeli officials. I think Biden, as much as I like the guy, reiterated this as if it were a fact, that like there were like 40 like beheaded babies like shoved in ovens or whatever. Atrocity propaganda, and there was an atrocity that happened, let's be clear, but atrocity propaganda is like a super powerful tactic in times of war. And what is one of the earliest examples, right? A lot of people were trying to enrage the American public in World War I by claiming when the Germans went through Belgium, they were beheading babies on like they were beheading babies on bayonets or whatever, talking about World War I. And that was like meant to like, I think that was like a big turning point. Obviously the Zimmerman telegram is why America entered World War I. But like that, the ship that went down, but also like the atrocity propaganda like helped mobilize the American public.
I think you're basically justifying rape.
Yeah, but most Israelis don't defend it though. If you're referring to the right to, okay, I agree with you totally. I agree with you completely. most Israelis probably don't defend rape. Totally comfortable saying that. An issue I have, though, that I've seen, this is one of the like more offensive takes, is people like to pretend, okay, that like it is a very easy, safe position, and I think Ethan does this too, where like you can pretend to be like reasonable by being like, yeah, Netanyahu is like a war criminal that we need to get him out of office, whatever, right? And you're looking on a surface level, like you're pro-Palestine to some extent. The Netanyahu is the most extreme manifestation of an issue that has occurred within Israeli society way before his time. So to boil this down to a Netanyahu problem is very like reductionist. This was before Netanyahu. Israelis have continuously justified the illegal settlement of the West Bank and the deprivation of like a Palestinian right to self-determination, the establishment of a Palestinian state. Like there is a problem with Israeli society, 150%. It's not just Netanyahu. They'd protest defending it, did they? I didn't know about that. Is that true? Yeah, true. He is a result of culmination of a buck of extremist and most extreme. Okay, extreme, sure. But like when you say extremist, that's not always the same thing as being fringe, right? And what is like the Israeli, let me look at polling. Israeli opinion on West Bank settlements. I know, my keyboard's broken. Is there like polling? There we go. Okay, so this is like a vague question, right? Because you could be against the establishment of settlements and not necessarily think that they hurt or help. So the fact that 40% think it helps, right? 21%, right? 21% does not make a difference, but I want that 21% I'm very interested in, because it's like, is this 21% that said, yeah, it doesn't actually help security at all in one way or another, but like, what do they think about its morality, if it's like a good decision? Wait, let me... You don't know about the Great Protest? I don't. No, they asked the word. I want more of a question of, do you think Israel should like continue to settle the West Bank? Of course, most of you are probably going to be against Israeli settlement of the West Bank. But the fact that like people have just like so easily accepted the notion of like a foreign military like encroaching on like sovereign territory and building settlements and just like admitting it despite it being illegal is like just so fucking insane to me. Like it didn't start with Netanyahu, right? What was fuck, the guy that got assassinated, Yitzhak Rabin, he was gonna sign the Oslo Accords, right? And Rabin was anti-settlement, correct? Anyways.
No. Rape is an inevitability. There's always going to be some amount of rape, right? And rape is inevitable.
Have you seen Lou Thoreau's new documentary on the settlers? Those people are insane. I've not. But I have enough knowledge of these people to just know like how fucking evil they are. And yes, like they are 150% legitimate military targets. They're like an invading army. And so essentially, like, the settlers act as like a fucking invading army.
Inevitable.
No, it's not.
And they, in the West Bank specifically, they have zero right to defend themselves. They have absolutely no right to defend themselves in the West Bank.
Oh, it is. You know, it's like crime. Like, crime is always going to exist. There will always be some level of crime.
No, okay.
You can't get zero crime.
I'm saying
there'll be zero rape.
Right. Well, what I'm this is that's crazy out of context. But I think what I'm saying is that I think when you say that, like, on
please
October
put Subway
7th,
Surfers
rapes were
gameplay on
inevitable,
screen. Thank
like,
you,
that
Kunman.
that seems tasteless, right? Because that's a war crime.
I can understand how
just the fact that, like, the fact that, I mean, it's like the fact that we have the existence of, like, something like the United Nations, et cetera, and something like this is, like, continuously allowed to happen. Like, the settlement of, like, sovereign territory is, like, just, like, fucking, I mean, it's just, like, totally fucking mind-blowing.
Oh, someone might see it as tasteless, but I don't necessarily think it's untrue when you've got
The United Nations is, like, so cocked, like, totally powerless. Like, when you really think about it, they're like, we adopted a resolution politely asking you to stop.
Truly, what do you expect to happen in these conflicts? There is going to be rape. Even the UN in that report say there's, like, a line in there where they say the goal should not be war without rape. It should be a world without war.
Israel controls the UN. Well, I don't entirely agree with that characterization, to be honest with you. The UN has, like, actually, it's funny because if you talk to a lot of, like, ardent Zionists, like, they're actually pretty anti-UN. They think the UN is, like, anti-Semitic. It's that the United States has a lot of influence in the UN, and the United States tends to vote with Israel, right? So they are pretty influential in the United Nations. But there have been, like, certain resolutions the United Nations has adopted that were antithetical to what Israel was saying.
Because the point is that there is usually, in any conflict that is big or long enough, there is some amount.
It's that they're literally powerless. Like, the UN is like what? Isn't there, like, good evidence? I haven't looked into this, like, a lot, but isn't there, like, good evidence that, like, the UN, like, totally, like, dropped the fucking ball when it came to, like, the Rwandan genocide? Like, they were just, like, completely fucking incompetent.
Conflict-related sexual violence, pretty much always. So rape is an inevitability in war. You shouldn't focus on fighting wars without rapes. You should focus on not having the war, right?
Well, I also have a friend named Marcus, and it's his birthday. He is homosexual and dying of genital warts that have spread to his brain. Please ask Keito to wish him happy birthday as a dying wish.
Thanks, Shimbly. Okay, sorry, what did you say? The DTS was speaking over you. I need to turn it down.
Right. Well, it had happened before the war. So this was basically like the October 7th ambush.
I want a UN where it says you have 24 hours to leave the West Bank, or everybody who is still present within this, like, internationally sovereign territory will be neutralized by a United Nations peacekeeping force. That's my dream UN. That's my dream UN. You've 24 hours to leave or face the wrath of the world. That would be that. I dream of a UN like that.
Bush, I think, having rapes and saying that was inevitable, I think that's, like, I think that's just tasteless, personally.
Okay, do you think there is
Well, the UN did actually do something in Yugoslavia. It just so happens that, like, my understanding is, like, they also totally, like, when the one time they actually did go and do something, they, like, also kind of fucked that up, right? When they were bombing where Belgrade and Kosovo, or they're bombing Belgrade.
World in which that happened on that day with those people and rapes didn't happen. Do you think that was even possible? Do you think that was, like...
Or sorry, you're right, NATO, you're right. Nope, I'm sorry, I'm tired. Nope, you're right, it was NATO. Absolutely, 150%. Yes. My bad. I'm tired. It was NATO, because what's his... I never can say his name right. Milosevic, the fucking genocidal Yugoslavian dictator guy. It was NATO. It was a NATO coalition led by the United States, with, like, support from, like, Germany, and some other nations.
Given the situation in those countries, with how fucked
the
attitudes and the circumstances are.
No, I get what you're saying. I think what you're saying...
so take that back completely. I was super wrong on that.
Makes sense. I just don't think that they're like, saying it's inevitable is essentially saying that it was, like, necessary. Would you agree?
No, I think those are two different things, but I understand why when Hassan says it, a lot of people take it as saying it was necessary. If someone's talking about how it's if someone's saying something like,
see, I got better, Ivana. I used to get made fun of. For, like, my inability to pronounce, like, insane, like, names from, like, the Balkans. and I've learned over time. I think I used to say his name like Milosevic, right, guys? This Milosevic guy.
Oh, this was an act of resistance. You know, people crying about rapes, but they're inevitable. Yeah, that sounds like what you're saying. Basically, is this is just, and you need to suck it up that there were rapes. Well, and I understand why you would have a problem with that. But making the assessment that in a conflict like this, I don't know the full context of the Sarn clip, so it could be totally that he was saying that thing that I just said, but. Making the assessment yeah, sure, feel free. Sure, making the assessment that rapes are inevitable in a situation like this, that on its own, I don't see as wrong or tasteless.
Oh crap! Wait. Nagasaki was screen sharing it. I don't know if I have the clip. You might be able to get it just by looking it up on Twitter. But I think either way, when you say that, yeah, I mean, basically, what you explained is essentially how myself and many others hear it.
Yeah, I know that happens a lot with Hasan. But I think usually when Hasan's like their stuff, Hasan always says crazy, out of pocket shit, but there's usually an explanation for what he's getting at when he says it. So, good example: America deserved 9/11.
America deserved 9/11.
Yeah. So the point that he's getting at, obviously, as I'm sure you know, is that when America engages in reckless or destructive foreign policy in other countries, there is blowback where these countries get discontent and violent towards America because of America's own actions. Right. That's the point that he's making.
Yeah. Okay. Like he didn't even need to clarify that point. Like you could obviously like tell what he meant. Like you have to be either like super emotional or like I get why people would be emotional on this subject, or like arguing in bad faith to like not interpret Hasan's statement by like how he meant it. Like it was very fucking obvious what he meant by that statement.
Or the Rick Scott one recently where he said, if Republicans really care about Medicaid fraud, yes, but people very rarely are even willing to engage with the thing beneath it. And it's especially annoying when I know a lot of the people who are...
If you try to like interpret anything Hasan says like in the way he clearly means it, you're just like considered to be someone that's like arguing in bad faith.
Pushing the talking points against Hasan most heavily are Destiny fans. And that's something Destiny has done time and time again. It's like, I'm fine with people doing that. I like when someone makes an incendiary comment that has a political statement behind it. I think that's awesome. But I hate the fact that it's okay when some people do it and not okay when other people do it. So like when Destiny said the shit about these protests are...
Oh, that's why Queeman is taking the I love Hasan stance so much. Because Queeman got you. I got you. I understand now. I understand now. Dude, this Queeman guy is very, very... A lot of spite for Destiny. A lot of spite. To be fair, is good reason. Is very good reason. You're talking about your best friend, Nick Dioria. My best for so fucking true. Oh my god, a truer statement has never been like reiterated in my chat before. Thank you so much for how correct of a fucking statement you just made.
They're going crazy. The rights have gone out of control at this point. If it means redneck militias mowing
that statement was so correct. I'm on the verge of tears. Just so you know.
Dipshit protesters, and they have my fucking blessing. About the BLM rights. It's like there's a point there about property defense and how Carl Rittenhouse.
Do you think? Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't mean to like cut you off. By the way, like
no, it's good.
I'm just processing what you're saying, and I'm interested to hop in. So I think the problem with that, and I think the reason that people don't like looking into the full context of what's being said, is because when you just hear the way that it's being said in the presentation of the argument, it's essentially ensuing radicalization, and that's something that I think you have to take as a problem. Because if you normalize the way of speaking in where you're basically going to use hyperbole to prove a deeper point,
this guy is so against hyperbole. He wants a world where like everyone is as literal as possible because he personally doesn't get it. This guy's like politics is just I'm anti-hyperbole. He's like, so you think my whole politics are really that I'm anti-hyperbole?
There are going to be people who end up agreeing with the hyperbole.
But you realize that the hyperbole...
Anyone who agrees, nobody's being convinced by the hyperbole. Anyone who happens to agree with it is just somebody that like already had that position to begin with.
I understand that Hasan will say things on sensitive. So what you're saying there is basically please expand the Overton window.
Yeah, I do call in. I'm gonna go take a quick break. At the time I call in, and I'll play it so you can listen to my. You could hear my call in. And then we'll get back to it.
To be wider, where the extreme ideologies.
I'm gonna steal Queeman's content, and he is gonna cry.
We're allowed to have more voice, but the window is already way past Hasan.
Aiden, I have an important question. What do you think the most anti-Semitic state in the United States is? You know, there's gonna be like you would say the South, but like to be honest with you, like I think like anti-Semitism you would find nowadays in the South would probably be like religiously motivated. Like I think you're like not Christian, so like I wouldn't even. If it's religiously motivated, I am like typically like a lot less likely to call it anti-Semitic because I think there's a difference between disliking something because of a belief and disliking it because of like an immutable characteristic. And where like Judaism gets confusing is that, and I don't like that this is the case, I think we should have a word for Jewish by ethnicity and a word for Jewish by religion, is that Judaism is a religion that you can convert into, a voluntary system of belief, but it is also like an ethnicity, right? Your like heritage. So like I tend to, the anti-Semitism I would take seriously if it's like, if it's like, you know, I don't like you because of your ethnicity or something. If it's like, I think your religious beliefs suck and you should convert to Christianity, I'm a lot less likely to consider that like bigotry, unless you're like, I guess it also just like depends on the way you're going to go about it, right?
To be honest with you, we've got like we've got Hail Hitler just dropped.
Hebrew or Ashkenazi. Ashkenazi, that's the other confusing part that people don't get. Ashkenazi is not an ethnicity. Ashkenazi is a subset of one. Jewish is one ethnicity, right? Even though you have Ashkenazi Jews, which are European Jews, and Mizrahi Jews, they're both considered part of the same ethnicity, but they're actually just like subgroups, and they have different heritage, right? That's why Mizrahi Jews tend to look a lot more Middle Eastern, because when they left Israel or whatever, they intermingled with local Arab populations, and then Ashkenazi Jews, when they first got to Italy, it was intermingling with Roman women, but it still is like the same ethnicity, even though the genetics are a bit different. That's the other big misconception too, even though I'm like almost like I'm super anti-Israel, a really bad talking point I see, and I think this is like an irrelevant talking point, because I don't judge your right to a land by how indigenous you are to it by blood. I don't believe in blood and soil. That's not what I believe in like at all. That's like a totally irrelevant factor for me in this conflict. But what people like to do is they'll say, oh, well, like Jews are just like white Europeans that have no, and for some Jews, yeah, they are white Europeans, right? I would be white, right? But it is very like reductionist, because every single person who is Jewish by ethnicity does have partial Middle Eastern ancestry, but because it's a diaspora group that is intermingled with local populations, they have at least half their DNA is reflective of like that local population. The thing as well is that most Jews living in Israel are not Ashkenazi, they're Mizrahi Jews. I remember Ethan doing his DNA test and being Ashkenazi was a part of his result, so that's weird. It gives him his subset, right? Like, so the thing is, those DNA tests can create, the groupings are like arbitrary, right? The groupings are arbitrary. So Ashkenazi is a socially recognized category. So they will get a donor who is Ashkenazi and give you that category based on like I think your DNA comparison to that person's DNA. But they could, if they wanted to, just broaden it to Jewish in general. Ethnicity has a social component as well. There is a genetic component, but there's also like a shared culture component. Like African Americans are one ethnicity. Not all African Americans genetically are the same, right? You have there are various different locations in Africa, and like typically about 25% European. But they are one ethnicity because they have like a shared culture or a shared kind of background and culture, right? Are you a two-state or one-state guy? So in my dream utopia, if I was king of the world, I'd want a one-state secular. I would want one state secular, so like a liberal secular solution where everybody gets along and there's no like constitutionally recognized like ethnic group. This is a land that's important to all three major Abrahamic faiths. Several people live on this land, have lived on this land, and have vested interests in it. So we can make I think we would have one secular state. Realistically, I know that's almost impossible, and that's like me completely dreaming. So the best solution as of current circumstances would be two-state. Right now. But ideally I would want one state. That sounds like yeah, dude, communism is, you can practice a religion. If you want to practice a religion, you can absolutely practice a religion, but there would be no religion that would be like recognized or like favored by the state. So like France, for example. France is a secular state, but France doesn't prevent you from practicing your religion.
Dropped like yesterday. So
That's
the
true,
window
that's
is
true.
expanded way past Hassan already. It just seems like people go after Hassan because of the positions he represents more than the things he's saying.
You have to admit that's super catchy though with Kanye.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's awesome. It's making anti-Semitism cool. But I think if you're worried about like the radicalization of speech or things that are way too outside, like there's bigger issues than fucking Hassan right now. You know?
No, that's true. That's true. But I think when you look at the Hassan thing, right? I think you can have people like you that look at the Rick Scott comment and say, you know what? Despite the inflammatory way that this is being presented, underneath it we have a person who's making a valid critique of the Medicare system, and we actually have to look into this and reform it for the.
That doesn't apply to the West Bank though, right? It's okay. So it's complicated with when I talk about being native to the land or whatever. I think native as well has like cultural connotation. I would never consider myself native to the fucking land of Israel. Okay? Like I have some like Levantine ancestry, right? From like fucking what? 1,000 years ago? That bears no I don't consider myself the like native to that land. Because I also, right? Ultimately, as most Ashkenazi Jews do, have like just as much Southern European ancestry, but I wouldn't consider myself native to like there either. The historical grouping of where these ancient groups lived is like it's a pain in the ass. I think we need to remove the subject of like blood and like genetic heritage from like the conversation about who's more entitled to what. You know what I mean? I don't these like blood and soil arguments. I feel like just go like nowhere. The question is who was living on the land when they were displaced from it, et cetera, et cetera.
Betterment of all of Americans, right? That makes sense. But I also think that you run the risk of people that have heard this kind of speech repeatedly that actually want to take matters into their own hands and actually enact violence and actually do things that are going to create radicalization. That's my issue.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, I agree. There is a risk you run. But that risk is inherent to this is a risk that's inherent to free speech, right? When you allow people to express themselves freely, it's possible that people will believe things that are causing harm.
No, 100%. No, I'm not saying that it. Yeah, dude.
I'd consider like as well, like a big native component is like your cultural like Native Americans, right? We all even like the place you're from. If you're German ethnically or whatever, you trace back far enough. You didn't come from Germany, right? And it's like, it's also about like your cultural. Your family's cultural like link to the land. So for example, like Native Americans, right? They came over from on the Bering Strait when it froze over, right? But they are Native American because their culture, their traditions, their history is linked to like this land. But like it's such a useless kind of the problem is Native Americans were the people living here when they were unjustly uprooted, right? That's the issue I have. Not that like they have a claim by virtue of their blood or whatever.
Dude, great point. Like it is a function of free speech, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I wouldn't want it to be any other way. I just think that people should criticize Hassan when he says stuff like that.
Sure. And I would be fine. And here's a criticism I'd be totally fine with in those instances. It's totally fine to criticize Hassan. I'm not saying you can't criticize Hassan. Saying something like, I understand your point, but I think that making a incendiary comment like this is irresponsible. I think that's reasonable. Yeah. What I don't think is reasonable is when people look at the Rick Scott comment and say, Hassan's trying to get someone to kill Rick Scott. That's not what's happening. He's not trying to get someone to kill Rick Scott. He's very obviously making a point in an incendiary way. But people will, very often, the broad narrative will set on the most insane interpretation that avoids the actual argument. Because you can engage, like I just said, totally fine if you engage with the argument and then say the way you're saying it's bad. The issue is when you don't engage with the argument. When people just shut off.
Yeah, the Cubans, a lot of Cubans actually came by raft, and I was like, oh, well, Florida doesn't seem that far from Cuba. And then when you actually like look at how long that distance like takes to traverse, it's actually insane that like people came from Cuba. It's like Florida on a raft. Like, that's not like as quick or close as you fucking think it would, as you would think. It's like not even that close by boat, right? On a fast boat, it would still take you what, like 6 hours?
Right. That's what's annoying to me.
Do you think that part of the weight that the speech carries shuts down that desire for nuance?
There is some extent to where that happens, but I think with Hassan specifically, there is a concerted and dishonest effort to make sure people take the most uncharitable approach.
True.
Why do you think that is?
I think there is a massive campaign against Twitch right now, and has been for the last 8 months or something, where people have almost consciously decided that they feel like Hassan and lefties have been dishonest towards them at some point, so now they're going to turn those guns back around on them.
True.
Do you think that it's? I mean, I think
various people with personal gripes. You know, Hassan has alienated by virtue of his politics a lot of different types of people: liberals, centrists, righties. So a lot of people are coming in a lot of people are coming into discourse about him like super like uncharitably. And I don't think Hassan, I'm not like a Hassan supporter. I just think his like hater base is like typically like very fucking unfair. But you get that with a lot of people that it's popular to hate.
Where we differ is that I don't think that this is a new thing that's Hassan specific.
I think this happens to some extent with everyone. I agree, but I'm saying
like
there is a
PewDiePie.
unique and deliberate, coordinated effort to do it with Hassan.
Right. Right. Like I think if you look at PewDiePie, like it was very similar. But I think the difference is that Hassan is serious. PewDiePie is, or was, I should say, joking.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, the PewDiePie thing, like, how coordinated really was that? It was
This guy
like
doesn't
2
know,
articles came.
and it's fine. He doesn't know anything about politics, so he's just like trying to like put it in the context like YouTube dramas and shit.
Out on
Well,
the same day.
that was the adpocalypse.
Yeah, but that wasn't very coordinated. It was like 2 articles came out, and then there was a big reaction to the articles, and then YouTube had a massive reaction.
The advertising conglomerates conspired against YouTube.
I don't think the advertising corrupts.
My mom and dad were my mom was pregnant with me when they came. How old are you? I guess. No, because I guess people were coming on rafts like as late as like. Sometimes doesn't it still happen to this day? For some reason, I always think like it was immediately like in the aftermath of like Castro taking power in the 50s, but I realized that actually just probably happened for years.
Conspired, did they? They all agreed they were pulling their revenue when the articles came out, but I don't think they conspired.
Well, that was the I feel like that was the adpoc. Well, maybe that wasn't the right word, but I think when you look at the way in which all of the advertisers basically pulled out funding from YouTube's ad campaign at the same time as a result, maybe it wasn't like, I mean, I feel like it was somewhat coordinated because Pepsi products, like Pepsi
But the way
like,
ads are sold, I'm pretty sure ads are sold in like almost in like quarters, you know, right? So you agree on an advertising budget for a certain period of time, and renegotiations happen around the same time. So when advertisers pull out, it is like at the same time, quote unquote, because the renegotiation period comes up, and that's when the advertising revenue gets pulled.
For sure. Yeah. Well, anyway, I think. Do you think that they're trying? Why would they want to get? I don't understand, because I am against. I think it's good when there's a lot of advertisers on YouTube and Twitch for everybody, and I don't understand why they would actively try to get. So you think that there's a coordinated effort to create an adpocalypse on Twitch?
Well, there was. Yeah. I mean, there definitely was. I mean, Dan Saltman was explicitly trying to do that.
Oh, and just so you all know, Queeman swept for this guy. Dan Saltman was super okay. I'm being facetious here, right? Queeman was very charitable to Dan, but yeah, Dan was like a bit dishonest in like how he went about his like Twitch campaign, right? Because he was claiming that like he was making it out like fucking Twitch purposely targeted 60-something% of the world's Jews, when it's like totally fucking plausible that because Palestinians, right, they were also barred access. Their internet, people in the West Bank were also cut off from using. You should see his coverage during the website.
He had done that.
Gotcha. Why?
Because
that's bad for everyone.
But for a couple of reasons. One, I think Dan's quite pro-Israel and doesn't like that Twitch allows such loud and aggressive criticism of Israel that veers into radical territories. I think he likes that. I think 2, he feels very personally slighted.
I love that. I actually personally love that.
By the fact that Destiny got banned from Twitch, and he's obviously best friends with Destiny, so he feels personally slighted about that. And he also feels like he used to be friends with Hassan, and Hassan was kind of an asshole to him and cut him off when he fell out with Destiny, so he fucking hates Hassan.
Gotcha. Okay, so it's more personal.
Yeah, I think most of it's personal. Same with Ethan Klein as well. Ethan's obviously like joined in with it now, and it's clear he doesn't actually give a fuck about anything that's going on. He just cares about the personal issues.
Okay, that makes sense.
Like, I assume you watched the Hassan Ethan debate. I don't know how that debate makes any sense. Ethan says that he thinks it's a genocide. I don't understand how Ethan's attitude towards it makes any sense if he believes it's a genocide, unless all he really cares about is his personal issues with.
That's a great. So do you actually like not understand? Because I actually think I do understand it.
Sure, go for it.
I think it's because of the same way, or it's the same reason that a lot of like slop tubers like myself are against Hassan, because I think it's the way in which he speaks.
Because it's the way in which he speaks. This is what I mean by like the bare bones like populists who have like absolutely no like. Fence sitter was probably the wrong term, but like they have like no deep political. They are pretending to be. They just don't like the guy, and they're pretending to care about politics, but they have no like actual like political analysis or engagement with like anything these people say. Like it's the Asman types where it's like, well, this guy said it. He said this crazy fucking thing because they genuinely think, right? It's not the contents of what you're. It's they care more about the way you're saying something than like the contents of how you say it. Somebody like Asman will call somebody like Destiny unhinged for his comments relating to the Trump supporter that was killed during the Donald Trump rally, right? But Asman is literally sitting here attempting to provide justifications for the foreign outsourcing imprisonment to a foreign nation without giving the people involved due process. So the potential and more than likely foreign imprisonment of innocent fucking people. Right? Like, but he says it in like a nice way. So it's not as crazy. Like, it's very like, yeah, it's politics based on vibes. Exactly.
It's the way in which he presents himself and the way in which he is talking to the audience, right? And the way that that community behaves. Like, I think that they, when you look at, because I think what you're doing, right, when you say, like, let's actually look beneath the surface of the radical claims that he's made or the ones that get clipped.
And unfortunately, that's how most, like, normies engage with politics.
I think that a lot of people in his community have been totally desensitized and trained to view these things as normative.
I think a big mistake, and there's a lot of reasons the Democrats lost, but I think like a very big mistake the Democrats make is you're not going to win these people over by like being logically correct or appealing with policy. Like, genuinely, the ends do justify the means, and if you need to just start like spreading rumors about your fucking opponents and like playing their game to win and like insulting them and shit, do it. 150% fucking do it. Like the whole like getting onto people's level and logically, your policy states X, Y, and Z. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. You need to get up there on Biden needed to get up there on stage and call Trump like a retard in front of the whole fucking country. Kamala actually did quite well with this. When she was during her, I think it's because Newsom, whether you like Newsom or dislike him, he's a very good speaker, and I think no, Newsom prepped Biden. I don't know if he prepped Kamala, but Kamala did a good job, actually, in my opinion, during her last debate with Trump, at like kind of going to his level a little bit. Saying shit like, yeah, you got fired, you were like fired by like 200 million people.
And so they kind of talk the same way about this stuff as he does, and then outsiders looking in are very against it.
I guess I don't really see people out there talking about killing politicians from Sans community.
Really?
No,
wasn't there the whole thing where like, well, maybe, well, I mean, like Noah Samson had the clip where he basically said,
Noah Samson's from his Sans community. Noah Samson's had like a long history. No, he's not. I think he knows Hassan or he's met Hassan.
That's how he got to start. Was Hassan would react to his videos.
Oh, really?
And then became friends.
My understanding is that he had like a whole thing where he debated Vosh and like years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, basically
Noah Samson made like a video against Debate Bros on Vosh, and it like was like super dishonest. And then like Vosh debated Noah Samson on it, and kind of like dismantled the video, and it actually was like such a bad video that Destiny took Vosh's side at this point.
Noah Samson got his start.
If I remember correctly, I could be a little off on that.
In like 2023, around the time that Manosphere content, or was it 2022? Well, Manosphere content was still hot. Like Fresh and Fit were on YouTube, and they were getting farmed by like Abba and Preach and people like that. And he had made a bunch of videos about them, kind of dissecting and destroying them. And then Hassan.
No, but he was prior to BreadTube. He was known during the BreadTube period too, right?
Had pretty frequently during that time period watched his content and signal boosted him, and so I view him as like being born by the Hassan community, and so I think that there's like some level of a tie there. But I mean, besides him, like I also think that like in terms of like material. So I think anytime that you do something that involves bringing like the real world and bringing about real world harm onto people, whether that be politicians or content creators.
Genuinely, when it comes to the homeless, I think my most like conservative take is that we probably should like not let people are like, we shouldn't penalize drug users. I agree. Ideally, we shouldn't let people smoke crack on the sidewalk. Like we shouldn't penalize them if they're making an effort to like not do it in public, but like it's ridiculous, like, for kids to have to walk to school past a guy, like, smoking out of a fucking crack pipe or a meth pipe or, like, shooting up heroin. Like, and that happens here in California, by the way. It's like, dude, if you're not even, you just don't get, like, I didn't go? What do you mean? How would you feel if Mexico took back all the states in the U.S. that were originally Mexican territory? That would be retarded. That would be really stupid.
I think you've overstepped the line. And I think if your community supports that, that's a big problem. So when you look at like Ethan Klein having CPS called on him.
I was invited on Fresh. Why were you invited on Fresh and Fit? Who are you? Interesting.
I think that's a result of the internet going way too far. I think certain communities that foster that behavior are the ones that get called out by like,
I totally disagree. Obviously, we can say a CPS call is too far. That's like the easiest thing to say in the world.
Yeah, hot take, guys. I think calling CPS is too far.
But the idea that it's the internet's fault or anyone other than Ethan's Like, it's not in anyone other than Ethan's control. Hassan has said it was bad call of CPS, and has always said it was bad call of CPS, and it's completely insane. Ethan is experiencing a complete careful situation where he's repeatedly hit a massive hornet's nest and continued for 18 months hitting the same hornet's nest on a very incendiary topic where everyone's very divided and aggressive. And then he's losing his mind because anonymous internet users are taking it too far. So you can't control anonymous internet users.
And then blame like the people that are criticizing you for like the actions of the anonymous internet users, even though there's an argument to be made that like the people that actually like uncritically entertained like claims of like child abuse or whatever contributed to this, right? But Hassan wasn't one of them.
You can control it yourself.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is that people are going to actively like despise those people who are causing it, and they're going to associate.
Cheeto does this. Cheeto, if your fan base goes and does something, it's like your fault completely, and we don't even know who made the CPS call, right? It's to be fair, to be good faith. I'm actually not even going to do that. I don't know. It was probably someone that watched Hassan or these people. One of the H3 snarkers. I think that's like a reasonable thing to conclude, right? But he we shouldn't there. I don't think there's a burden to stop criticizing somebody because a random insane figure from the public went and did something crazy. When you sign up for this shit, you know what you're risking when you decide to be online. And doesn't mean you deserve it when it happens, but you need to take precautions yourself, right? Doesn't mean you should stop criticizing people.
Who's causing it?
Well, you just said anonymous internet users are causing it.
Well, yeah, but you're not blaming anonymous internet users. You're blaming Hassan.
Well, yeah, because they're part of his community. Well, hold on. No, sorry. I'm saying the anonymous internet users are from that community, right? And so when people look at that community and they're like,
but
wow,
you realize, like, obviously, like, commentaries going to have done this to people before. There's going to be people that they've had issues with, that've had swatings called on them. There's Kiwi Farms as well.
Yeah,
obviously,
no, it's terrible. And I think if you were to make videos criticizing that, you'd be in the right.
Yeah, sure, but you can criticize the action, but you don't characterize the community by just one random user who took it too far.
Well,
especially because you take it as a given, right? You take it as a given that it was Hassan's community, but we don't even know that truly, do we? Like, we can sit here and say, oh well.
I think Queeman should be a little charitable here and say, like, yeah, it was more than likely Hassan's. I mean, he's right. We don't know, but I don't even need to argue it from that point. Let's just, for the sake of it, say we did know for whatever reason, right? You could still make a good argument.
This community is really hostile to Ethan, so it was probably people around that side of the internet that did it. But we don't actually know that. When Careful's got swatted, that ended up being Tor Swats, who wasn't even from Kiwi Farms. He was a false flagger, basically. He was trying to blame Kiwi Farms for it. So we don't actually even know who did it. Yet people are so ready to accept and characterize Hassan and his community by the CPS call, when we wouldn't do that with any other community, ever.
True.
Right. Well, I think specifically there's also instances, like I said, like with the Noah Samson thing. I also think, like, wasn't there a clip of, what's that guy's name with the fucking weird hair? Mike from PA. Mike from PA. He's on screen. Yeah, this guy. He said that he was going to like give a bounty to anyone who would make Destiny, like that they would kill him or something.
Yeah, well, I mean, Destiny said he wanted someone to kill me, so I've got no sympathy there, to be honest. But
okay, well, it's just some sport here. I have no idea what any of this is about. But basically, I think that that because he's like one of Hassan's orbiters as well, and so I think that they're.
Are you taking over Dalmatia again? Yeah, I'm essentially doing the same thing over and over and over again until I get it right.
When there's the community overlap, and then there's like a repeated pattern of not only like the actual saying that there is like kill Rick Scott or whatever, people who are talking about this apart from the politics and stuff. I think that's like radical behavior, and I think when people talk about it, they're just disavowing it.
Aiden wanted to speak. If you're down to speak to Aiden, I think he's around now.
Oh wait, this is when I call in. Okay, I'll let you guys listen to this part. It goes on for a few minutes. I'm not gonna let it play the whole thing uninterrupted. But I'll let it play for a little bit. I'm gonna go take a quick break, and then we'll keep going. But yeah. So here is this is me talking to a Cheeto. For those of you that missed it, I'll be back in a little bit. Please tell Quimman I'm playing his stream without commentary. It's gonna be very funny. DMCA me.
Yeah, sure.
Hopefully he's not paying attention. There we go. Aiden,
yo, it's good. I just woke up, so I kind of missed the rest of the stream.
Yeah, so
I was heard there was something.
Yeah, I was trying to present your criticisms of a Cheeto to him, but obviously I don't really know what your arguments are. So.
Okay. I don't have any. I think there's like a very big like misunderstanding of like how invested I am in this. Like the thing is, right? You're just like very sensitive and respond to like everything, and it gives me shit to cover. And if that wasn't happening, like I don't genuinely like hate you or anything. It's just like you are like unusually sensitive. And I cover it.
You said unusually?
Yeah, I think you're sensitive to like a bit of a strange extent. Yeah.
Right. So do you think that that might have to do with like our personal relationship?
You keep like falling back on that. I don't have some profound personal relationship with you. Like I don't know. Like you're acting like we served in like fucking Nam together. I mean, I'm sure I met you in person, but I think that's like a difference. Like I don't consider meeting someone in person to be like I'm on like some like new fucking plane or new level with them.
Well, here's the thing, right? You think that I'm upplaying it. I think you're downplaying it, because when you say that I'm being unusually responsive to what you're saying, I think it has to do specifically with the fact that I've known you for like 7 years, and I don't think we've been all that close. Like we haven't been buddy. But I do think that there's something there, that the reason I'm responding to you and not like, you know, fucking 5-viewer Andy or 50-viewer Andy who's shitting on me is there's a reason for that, right? Like once you have a personal relationship with someone, the way in which you interact with them and the severity or seriousness that you have when they're talking to you is obviously a lot higher. Like, you know.
But okay, but just to
and
be
I think
clear,
also
like,
specifically, I think it has to do with the fact that I think when you say that I'm just mad that you're like saying that my bed isn't made or something, like I don't really care that you're saying my bed isn't made. I care that when you're saying that, like when you're attacking my character, like you're saying like this guy's fucking disgusting and he's a piece of shit and I used to like him, but now I think he's a really gross person. Like that's the kind of stuff that gets to me.
Okay, what I said was I've lost all respect for this guy, which sure, it's pulling hairs, but I said that in the moment in regards to your Sniper Wolf debate with Lyrics, which it was my first time seeing that, and I thought that was like a really fucking like poor display, because to me it was indicative of like a fundamental inability to admit that you're wrong, and I thought that was like really cringe. So I said I lost all respect for you.
That's true, and I understand that, and that wasn't a good thing that I did, and I take accountability for that. I also think that what you did following that was very opportunistic, and it felt like personal. So
sure.
like
Opportunistic?
I think
yes. Personal? No. Opportunistic in the sense of like, I used it for content. 150%. Personal? No.
I think what you did was, well, what I found was that you used the fact that people were mad at me, rightfully so, for my blunder with Sniper Wolf coverage, to basically go on to all my other videos, which you've previously had nothing, you know, bad to say about, and then basically gone through them and then started shitting on them now that it was sort of convenient. And I didn't like that, because you also then, when you were watching, would say things about me as a person and stuff that I didn't like.
Okay, when you say nothing bad to say about, that's because I didn't watch your videos before that. Like, if like there's nothing, your videos are kind of like copy paste.
I mean,
from, like,
I don't want to say, I'm not here to like debate you over this, but there's been times where like I remember, like, I mean, maybe you don't remember this, but like we've literally called and I've asked you for feedback on content, and like I mean, I don't want to pull up like old DMs, but there was a time like you were catching up on life, and I talked about this sort of stuff, and so maybe from your perspective you don't see it like that, and maybe you don't think you've like watched my videos because they're forgettable, and that's fine, but you definitely have. 100%.
Is this like 4 years ago?
No, this was like before VidCon 2023 or I don't
think no, because that year I'd only spoken to you like 2 times, so I don't understand why.
Well, either way, my point was that, you know, I felt like what you were saying during you were watching my videos was more to do with a personal gripe than anything else, right? Like you had said something along the lines of like, dude, this guy like you're basically saying that like I was like on drugs and I like ruined my life to like make YouTube videos or something like that, and it sounded like it was coming from a place of not just like this friendly jab that you were trying to make it seem like that you were just, you know, insulting me for not making my bed or something, but what? I
don't know if you're like unfamiliar with like the live stream kind of commentary meta or whatever the fuck. It is like very fucking. I watched somebody like Parry or whatever. Like I'm throwing out insults there, but it is like very fucking played up, right? I'm trying to be entertaining for people.
Well, I don't know that.
Well, I'm not. Like you have to think about the context here. Do you really think I'm that angry that you made a bad video? Like, do you think that would like affect me that personally? Like, I feel like the context is like gives you enough like indication.
But you were saying that it was. You were saying things that absolutely were like that.
So, yes, I'm playing it up to entertain my stream.
Okay, so were you playing it up or were you not playing it up? When you're saying things that are absolutely like personal attacks, do you not just not mean them, or?
Okay, so I don't know which ones you're referencing specifically. The ones of you like being unable to admit you're wrong. That I totally mean. Sure, I totally mean that one.
Right. So it just seems like you're basically saying that like it's my job to sort of discern which ones are serious and which ones are not. And this is something that you've done a lot of the times where you'll say things and then I'll take it seriously, and then you'll be like, well, you took it seriously, and then there will be other things kind of paired alongside that in the same stream that will be completely serious, and then I'm just supposed to know that that one is serious and these other ones aren't. So it's kind of like
yes, yeah,
it's like it's basically you're sort of hiding behind like satire or like seriousness when it's convenient, but like when it's actually something like you want to like talk a bunch of shit and you want me to kind of like on a case by case discern whether or not it's true, even though you're saying all played up.
Okay, yes. No, that is exactly what I want to do. Well, because typically, okay, that might not make sense to you, and I'm actually learning a lot about you through this conversation. Typically, you could like look at somebody's like facial expressions, tone of voice, et cetera, and like discern they're joking. I realize there's some people that are fundamentally unable to do this, and you like might be one of them.
Right. Well, because when you like, for instance, say you unironically mean something, but then it isn't unironic, that's actually not that person's fault. It's the person who said unironically.
Okay, that's just like sure. If you're taking unironically literally, sure, but that's like a filler word, like using the word literally, like. Look at the context of it, and like if the context is like this.
If you say I unironically hate you, and I'm like, well, why do you hate me? And they're like, bro, I was just joking. Can bro take a joke? It's like, well, you just said unironically.
I think I said
like that word unironically is carrying weight. I'm giving you an example of how the word functions in a sentence.
No, I know, but it also is like used as like an overused filler word, which I probably should do. But I think the other night I literally said that I was like unironically gonna like find out where Queen lived or something. Like it's literally it's like an overused filler word.
Okay, so I understand that, but when you're saying things to me that you're saying, you know, some of it's a joke, some of it's not a joke, but you should take it all as a joke. But when I'm using unironically, it's not unironically. Do you understand how your kind of thought process to me, especially as someone who is the recipient of all of it, has to? You're basically saying that I have to decipher all of what you've said, which is essentially a word salad, where you're kind of like you mean something but you don't mean it, and it's not ironic, but it is ironic, and then there's just like at the end of the day, you'll just pick whichever one serves your best intentions, and so it's not really. Like
my best why this doesn't benefit me at all. If everything I said was legitimate,
no, it benefits you. It benefits you that when you say something that's not true, to say, "Well, I was joking."
But because I fucking was. You don't think I love arguing with people. You don't think if I actually meant it, like you think I'm afraid to sit here and argue it to you? Like I literally was joking. Like that's the problem. And I don't know. It's just like I feel like everyone else.
No,
could,
but you weren't joking. You weren't joking when you said he's unironically unable to take criticism. So
that's because I was saying that in reference to a specific situation. I was actually elaborating on what I meant.
So you were literally, bro.
You have to look at the context. You have to look at the context of what I'm saying. Yes, you do have to discern. Yes, but that's what you do in like conversations or anything. You discern what's serious, what's a joke.
100%. And I think that when you're doing it for every single sentence with the context of you actually not fucking with me, then it's just like, okay, so if he actually doesn't like me, but then all the stuff he's saying about me to evidence that he doesn't like me is a joke, then it doesn't really make any sense.
I actually believe you that it doesn't make sense to you, and I don't think this is something I can teach you. I think this is something innate. I think it's something.
Okay, Aiden, I'll teach you. I'll teach you because you don't get it. If I say I really don't like Aiden, okay, and then I'm listing a bunch of reasons why I don't like him, and then I say, wait, what? You believe those reasons? That I'm just joking. They're ironic. How does that make any sense?
Okay, if you said it like that, I would totally believe you're being serious. But that's exactly why you would look at the too big of an ego, can't take criticism, et cetera, and know that those things are serious criticisms because that is how I said it. But the shit where I'm like, the shit where I'm like, this guy's on drugs, he can't make his fucking bed, this guy sucks, et cetera, that's all played up. But what you just described is exactly how I gave all of the serious criticisms.
Perfect. So let's run through this then. Why don't you tell me right now what are your serious criticisms of me? Because you don't like me, and I want to know the serious criticisms.
I mean, I just think you're like very fucking sensitive. It's like, and I wouldn't have an issue with that. I know a lot of sensitive people. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong being sensitive. The problem is, I think like the type of content you make kind of makes it like very hard to be sensitive and not be like a total hypocrite. You know what I mean?
Okay. So
you cover, yeah.
Yeah, I think that if you look at my content and you look at me criticizing others, it wouldn't make sense to expect that I never get criticized. Yeah, that makes sense. 100%. I understand that. I think that there's a difference between getting dislikes and people writing hate comments and then people reacting to me and criticizing me versus you doing something where you're basically talking about me as a person you've met and giving a character judgment.
Dude, I rarely, if ever, have like actually like given like personal in real life meeting you examples when criticizing you. I don't think I have. So I mean,
right, but it's about me who you've met, so therefore it is.
It's not because I'm addressing it directly in relation to content.
I don't think you can separate the two. If you've met me and you want to talk about my content, you're also talking about your interaction you've had with me because that does affect the way that you.
Didn't you meet Emma Langevin and make a video on her?
No.
You didn't meet Emma Langevin.
I made a video on her in 2020 when I was 16, and I met her when I was like 17.
Okay, so that came after. So you've never. So if we go through your catalog, you've never made a video on anyone you've met in real life.
No, I definitely have.
Oh. So what? I don't understand.
Well, the difference is that the difference is that when it's usually been about something like actually like serious, and you admit that your criticisms are not really serious. Your criticism of me is that I'm sensitive. My criticism of Mama Max was that he basically like spewed false allegations.
Well, didn't you have a whole thing with like Ludwig where you tried messaging him and then you made a video about him and he posted it or something?
I've never met him.
Well, no, you didn't meet him, but you like tried speaking to him or something and you made a video on him. And he
posted. Because he had responded to me. Like this was like a Twitter stat. This was a public beef.
I mean, sure, but this is like
this was about the Chris Tyson stuff. So it was just
you had tried reaching out in private though, right?
My point is like there's a severity gap between his criticism and my criticism. If something is actually serious, when you're talking about allegations and the way that people's like literal the content of their character being that like okay, if this person's a pedophile, I think that there's a point where it's like, well, I met this guy, I've been nice to him, but if he's literally a pedophile and he has a platform, then we should talk about this, right? Would you agree?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Right.
Yeah, I'm that's okay.
So what you're trying to say is that like the people that I've met, it's somehow the same, and that I'm holding a double standard when I'm actually not.
Well, I wasn't actually okay. I was questioning it. I wasn't actually certain. I'm going to take your word for it. If that didn't happen, then there isn't a.
Well, no, I did the Mama Max thing, but I'm telling you the reason for that.
Okay, no, that's fair. I wasn't being strong on that accusation. I was literally questioning it because I thought that had happened. Now I don't. The other problem is I don't really distinguish like that much between like meetings. Like I don't distinguish that much between meeting someone in real life. And it makes it like some exceptional kind of thing. I don't know. I feel like I keep it the same regardless. My like attitudes, the way I go about talking about them. Like I don't think.
Well, I think my criticism was that you sort of switched up, right?
Yes.
And that you wouldn't have been this way had it not been like content opportunism.
Yeah, for sure. If there was no
so essentially my argument this entire time is that because you were getting viewers, you decided to like, completely reframe the way that you're going to talk about me and view me, which I don't like.
But Aiden doesn't feel like he's switching. No, Aiden doesn't feel like he's switching up. I think what's happening is Aiden feels like Aiden thinks he's treating you the same way he treats anyone else. For you,
no, but he's not treating me the same way that he has in person. So therefore, like when there's an incentive for him to like, trash me, he just, he'll take it. So it's actually not about like honesty and consistency and like, maintaining a level of like integrity. It's just about views.
Well, I don't think you're. Sorry, you keep going.
No, I was going to say I don't think if it's in real life, you're not seeing his content, right? So things you're criticizing are in his content or in your content in Cheeto. So like you're not going to have those criticisms when you just meet someone at a party and say, "Oh, hey man, how's it going?" Or when you're on Discord like 5 years ago talking about a video, you might not.
But half of it was about my character. I wouldn't care if he was just going through my videos and calling them cringe. The most of it is about my character, right?
Well, Aiden, do you feel like you switched on him, or do you feel like your perception was the same, or what do you think's happening there?
Okay, I also need to give a little bit of context. we've beefed long before. And to be fair, it was stupid shit, right? Moved on, whatever. We've had continuous beef like off stream for like years and years, right?
I mean, bro, like I was like 13 or 14.
No, I get it. That's but I haven't invoked that shit, right? But so we move on from that. But the thing is, right?
Okay, continue. Sorry.
There was I felt like a reoccurring pattern, and I thought you changed or whatever. And then I see this shit with Sniper Wolf, and I just like I see the serious.
Wait. What reoccurring pattern of behavior? When did I spread misinformation about people besides this?
No, I'm explaining what the pattern is. I think the pattern is you have like a very I just think you're like pretty like egotistical in the way you go about things sometimes. I thought that like this started with the Weiss shit. I thought it was like insane.
I took the video down and I apologize. That was a mistake.
Yeah, no, I know. And then we moved on from that. But then the Sniper Wolf shit happens, and it tapped back into that like this pattern of behavior. And
over 3 years, how's that a pattern?
Is there like a set time to define? Like if it's happened repeatedly, it would be a pattern, right?
Bro, that over 3 years, I'm literally I'm 21 years old. If you're really gonna say that, like, wow, you did something bad when you were like 18, and now when you're 21, you also do something bad. Surely this is who you are. It's a pattern of behavior. Like that's insane. If I fight someone when I'm 20 and then 30 I fight someone else, it's not a repeated pattern of behavior.
No, I would agree with like moving on from the Wii shit, which I did if you like actually grown up. It's just the problem is it didn't really seem like you had by the time I'd seen the Sniper Wolf shit. It's like, wow, nothing's really like not a whole lot has actually changed here. Like I've done stupid shit when I was a kid, and it's like you want to move on from that. That's totally valid, but that's under the understanding you've actually grown up. And to me,
well, there was a big difference. No, but there was a huge difference. Whereas the Weiss thing was a personal criticism I was making of Weiss, where I didn't spread any misinformation. I had been sensitive about a specific joke that he made. The Sniper Wolf thing was me being incorrect.
You did. No, hold on. You absolutely. You made it look like the joke he made about getting Vince's IP was like a serious direction viewers to go dox this kid when you, as well as everyone else, knew it was a fucking joke. For context here, Queeman, this Weiss guy, while arguing with Vince in chat, is like, chat, get this guy's IP. A joke I make, right? He says this as a very obvious joke, and Cheeto framed it as though he actually seriously wanted chat to go get this guy's IP.
Well, that was my interpretation. That's not misinformation.
I just don't know if you can like read humor. I don't, and I don't fault you for that. It's like
where's the misinformation? Like with the Sniper Wolf thing, like I understand that, but you're saying I have a repeated pattern of spreading misinformation. If people saw the clip, then they can say, well, no, that's a joke. That's fine.
So it looked to anyone observing like a joke, right? And I feel like it's very easily like gone and like.
Well, yeah, obviously afterward, having seen what people were saying, I'm like, okay, you know what? He probably didn't mean it like that. I took the video down, right? That was a misunderstanding, and I'd also fucked up by making the video in the first place. What I'm saying with this is there was no misunderstanding. I had literally just had bad information.
You had the same information that like, the Sniper will shoot you bad information.
Correct.
Yeah, but then the other problem is, right, there was even if that is said and done, right, you weren't the only one to run with that, right? You weren't the only one to run with that. The reason you were spoken about is because you were pulling teeth to avoid like making a fucking concession.
Yeah, that was the problem. I agree.
Yeah, yes, and nobody would have like, it would have been a fucking done deal had you just like been like, yeah, that was wrong, and then private it moved on. But you're pulling teeth.
All right, I'm back. Should I just like react to my own debate? I guess like I was playing it on because I thought it'd be a little weird to like talk about my own conversation, but I guess we can keep watching this. We'll go for probably another 35 minutes. If you guys are supporting the stream, want to help me out, you could super chat, donate through Streamlabs, link in the description, or you can like the stream, sub to the channel, join the Reddit, join the Discord. Yeah, react to the context of it. True, so fucking true. People are skimwalking me. They're now using that statement. I missed this. We could keep watching it, and I can just give you like additional insight into the things I'm saying. The thing is, right, the switch up, what he defines like a switch up, what I mean is I wouldn't have covered him to the extent that I did if there wasn't content to be made out of it, but my actual like attitudes towards him as a person switched up due to like a genuine assessment of like his character due to the content I was watching, and that had nothing to do with meeting him in real life. I analyzed his performance in the Sniper Wolf lyrics conversation. I analyzed that performance like on its own. That had nothing to do with me meeting him in person. And he's like, well, you can't discern the two. I absolutely can. All my criticism was rooted at the time in that video.
Because you were totally unwilling to make a concession. So it wasn't just bad. So it wasn't just bad.
I had, but I mean, it does. Yeah, I mean, the main problem was.
Yeah, like
I'll probably see him in real life again. If I see him in real life, I'll be just like fine, right? I'll be just as cool. Doesn't mean I'm not gonna make content on him, right? If he wants to talk to me in real life about this, I'll talk to him about it in real life. But typically, like if the context I've met him in has been I'm like chilling at other people's like events or whatever. So I'm not like trying to litigate drama IRL, but I'm not afraid to do it, right? I mean, but I don't know. I'm nice to people in real life. People are trying to hang out. People are trying to be chill. I'm nice to people I don't even necessarily like like all that much. I was cool with him when we met in real life. We put our differences aside, whatever. But then something new happened that affected my attitude. And then the coverage happened because there was content to be made, right? Those two things are not mutually exclusive.
Late.
I think that it was... Okay, I still think that what you did for the next 5 months was out of proportion. Actually, like 7 months now.
I covered you like 6 times. I've covered you like 6 times in the last what, 5, 6 months.
Who else does that? Who else does that? Nobody. Nobody else.
And by the way,
you understand this? Do you understand? Like, you're like, oh, I'm sensitive. It's like you're the only
people to him, maybe, but like people absolutely cover people. Like Queeman has people he really doesn't like that he'll like hate watch, right? People absolutely do this to people. That's not like a exceptional thing. It's just I'm probably one of the only people doing it to him.
Only one doing this, and you just so happen to be someone who I've met, and you just so happen to be talking about my character, and all of these other things that make
any assessment I've spoken about in relation to his character was rooted in the content. It had nothing to do with meeting him in real life.
A unique instance. And the fact that you don't see that is like interesting.
Queeman, is there anybody you've covered 6 times in the last 6 months?
Yeah, it's a lot of people.
Yeah, I've covered people in the past 6 times, but I'm saying those are all people who have been widely covered. The reason that hasn't happened for me is because you have a gripe with me.
The gripe, right? The gripe is like the gripe that exists was due to me, or is due to me thinking that you were is due to me thinking you're egotistical and unable to admit you're wrong. But then after that, I totally would not have continued covering you if I wasn't getting a weird ass response. And also,
what's the weird response? I'm asking.
True. So that was the part that incited me to make more. The attitude change was in relation to the Sniper Wolf shit. The using him for content part was due to his attitudes towards it.
You not to like stream snipe me? That I'm asking you to
what
stop?
happened? Nope. You literally like lied about me. Or 2 weeks ago.
What did I lie about? What did I say?
A bunch of fucking people came in your chat and started spamming AG4L, and I wasn't even online. I wasn't even live streaming. And then you were like saying, dude, this guy's got nothing better to do. He's sending people to raid me. He promised he would stop sending people to raid me or whatever the fuck, which also is a lie because I never conceded to sending people to raid you because I have never.
Yeah, it was like when he said he promised to stop sending people to raid me. That implies I've made like a past admittance of sending people to raid him, which I've never done, so I wouldn't agree to stop doing something I hadn't done before. I've never sent people to raid him. People in my chat have raided him. And to also, just to be honest, he is overreacting about how, like, bad that is, right? If people are coming into my chat, like, spamming some shit because Parry is hate watching me, I'll laugh about it, but, like, the mods will delete it and I'll fucking move on. It's not gonna, like, affect... It's not really that big of a deal. I'm not gonna crash out about it, right? But I didn't incite people to go and like do that, right? I told them explicitly actually not to go and do that.
Never send people to raid you. If I'm covering you on a stream and you're live, I would literally tell people, do not fucking, if I see people raiding, I say, don't raid this guy. And I've said I'm gonna ban people if I fucking see them raiding you.
And just to be clear, I know that by covering him while he's live, there's a very real possibility people will go into his chat. I know that. But then that's on, like, if I'm doing everything I possibly can, minus not covering him, to make sure that that's not happening, then the burden isn't really on me. The only argument you can make is, as a result, I just shouldn't cover him at all. But according to him, that's actually not what he's saying. So
okay, so when I see a bunch of people coming in my chat from your server all at once in a coordinated attempt to spam my chat, I think I'm fair to assume that it's a raid.
But also the lie was that he like said I'd previously agreed not to, which I wouldn't have said, or I previously agreed to stop. I'd never previously agreed to stop because I wasn't doing it in like the first place.
I mean,
yeah, but
that's what a raid is.
Yeah, but directed by me? They're like,
okay. Maybe the fault is that I said that you sent them there. But regardless, like they're from your community, and so it's a raid from your community. Maybe you didn't say it. Maybe I'm sorry that I said that you sent them there because you didn't send them there. That's what you're saying. I don't know if that's true or not. They all come in at once and they're all spamming AG4L. I'm saying that's what I have a problem with. I'm sorry for accusing you of doing that if you didn't.
Well, just like get mods. I mean, there's nothing like I don't know why you stream with no mods, but
yeah, it's like if you have moderators, this really like shouldn't be that big of a fucking issue. Like this is like something you like laugh about for 2 seconds and move on. Right? And also, I don't even have that many people watching me. At most, it probably was like 8 people in his chat. You really can't ban like 8 fucking people from the chat. You can't ban 8 people from your chat? Holy shit.
Yeah, like that just seems like an easy fucking fix.
Okay, well, the easy fix would be for you to say, "Don't raid his chat." Or don't...
I did. I said that verbatim.
Yeah, like multiple times, dude. I can send you screen. I can send you logs.
Okay, all right, okay.
I said it on stream.
Why are you so like? Okay.
Like what else? Like what else do you want me to do? Do you want me to like get a tattoo on my fucking forehead? Don't raid a cheetah.
Okay.
Like
yeah,
said it in every conceivable way.
Gotcha. All right, got it. Sounds good. Say it 10 more times. I understand. That's great.
Oh, he got mad about that one.
Okay. It keeps happening. So that's my point. Either way, At this point in time, all I'm saying is that you have repeatedly for like 7 months, and you want to minimize it, which I understand, but at the same time, if you're trying to farm my response, then you're clearly, interested in it, which makes no sense. If you're going to say like, damn, this guy is really obsessed with me, yet at the same time, it is you who.
Yeah, I'm interested. I'm totally 100. I wasn't interested in like covering his like shitty main channel content after a while. If he's going to talk about me and continue to react, or if he's going to talk about me, I'm absolutely interested in that. I've never claimed otherwise. If someone is like talking about me negatively or like lying about me or something, of course I'm going to be interested in that. I've never claimed I wasn't.
Frequently farms my responses, and if I'm responding to something, it means you started it. So how are you going to say that I'm obsessed when you're the one doing it? I've never made a single piece of content about you. You've made over like 10, and they're all like, hour-long segments, and I have to understand, and you should maybe take time to think about why you're the only one doing it.
Okay, so the last time I covered you was what, like 2-3 weeks ago, was you falsely thinking I rated you and you talking about me. I will
also, like, he's like, you're the only one doing it, as if like it shows some like exception on my part, but the problem as well is, right, he does have 500,000 subs, but these are not 500,000 active subs. People watch this guy purely for the topic, not him. He's not like that's why he only gets 100 viewers on his like fucking live stream. So there's not gonna be a whole lot of people that are gonna like farm him for content, right? There's not gonna be a whole lot of people to do that in general.
Cover people, and this actually doesn't just go for you. If people talk about me or like are giving criticism about me, I'm a small streamer, so that doesn't really happen a lot on other people's streams. I'll cover it. I'll absolutely cover it. And
my criticism is just, it's not even a criticism. I'm just like, whenever there's people in your community that are all in my chat at once, I'm just saying like, what is this guy's problem with me?
That's your fault. That is your fault. That is your fault. Okay? Like, that is totally your fault. Like, it's 8 people. You should like be competent enough as like a fucking streamer to get them out of your chat. If you can't do that, it's totally on you.
That's all I'm ever saying, bro.
Sure. I mean, sure.
That's what Autism 420. That's exactly what I said. I said, even if he wants to bargain with me for me to stop covering him, and to be honest, unless he continues to talk about me, after this, I am probably going to stop covering him. Unless he does some crazy shit or talks about me more, right? I am going to stop covering him. But I'm certainly, his like response to me has essentially put like blood in the fucking water for the sharks to go. The sharks have smelled the blood in the water, and I wouldn't be surprised if I stopped covering him, if other people went and like started farming him because of how he's shown people how he responds to this kind of shit. So even if that's like putting a band-aid on a fucking gunshot wound, even if I agreed to like never talk about him again, that's not going to fix the underlying issue. The underlying issue is how he responds. And if he continues to respond this way, I highly doubt I'm going to be the last person that's going to like use him for content.
I've never criticized you. I don't even know what you stream most of the time. I've had nothing to say about you. My response is just simply, I don't know what his problem is. He talks about me a lot.
No, that's not true. That's not true at all. You also said I platformed false allegations against you.
Right, recently. Yeah, that was what happened back in November. So what?
How was that? Just for reference, because it's gonna be a little bit insane to some people. He's referencing the morale debate. That was that was me doing something wrong against you. Some guy wanted to call in. He comes on.
I mean, ultimately, what I'm saying is that you did. I mean, what your offense was is that I said don't platform this guy. That's what you had a problem with. You had a problem with...
Not only that, but then later when he got mad at me and was like complaining about me to his chat because other people were going into his fucking stream, right? When that was all said and done, right? He was then saying this guy who platformed. It wasn't just that don't platform him further. You criticized the initial platforming. He took issue with he at least pretended. I think he pretended to take issue with the fact that I let this guy call in to begin with, right? Even though I had no idea what he was calling in to talk about. He called into my stream, and then started saying this shit about Ichida, which I then refuted, right? Like, it's like Nux came onto his stream and accused some guy of being a terrorist that very well might not be a terrorist, but I don't think he's at fault for that because he had no idea what Nux was going to say.
With me saying don't
platform. You guys have been friends for 7? No, we have absolutely fucking not. Like the first few years I knew him, he was just some like annoying kid or whatever the fuck that was like trying to work his way up, whatever, right? Then when we actually like, we were never like friends. If I consider you a friend, we have to talk more than 2 fucking times a year. Like, we're not friends for 7 fucking years. That's total bullshit. I don't know. It depends on how you use the word friend. But it's friendly, right? I was friendly with him for a period of time. But if you can't say a whole lot about who I am, that like most people who watch me wouldn't know, and we haven't spoken like more than 2 times in a year, I'm probably not gonna consider you like a friend.
Form this guy.
if somebody wants to call in, I'll let them call in to hear them out. But that wasn't the just.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I don't. In the moment calling in, I understand because he had something to contribute to your stream, and when he
Well, that's actually he says that now, but he did criticize me for that when he was like crashing out about me to his chat. And why I said I think he was pretending to be mad about that is because he was really mad that I was making fun of him and covering him, and he knew that would sound kind of like ridiculous. So he tried to like come up with like cope reasons to not like me or to take issue with what I was doing, to make his grievance more like legitimate, or for people to like take it more seriously.
he goes off saying these allegations, well, he's already in the call, so it's like, let him speak. I understand that. But what I'm saying is, in the future, now that we've established that you've disproven him, that he's a bad faith actor, do not continue to listen to his lies. That was my point. And then you took offense to that because you said I sounded like a tyrannical boss, or that I was trying to control you or who you platform. When I was
If he's saying things I don't agree with, I'll absolutely have him back on to contest him on it.
just asking you to not have someone on who's going to spread lies. And as someone who was affected by the lies, that makes perfect sense.
It was in aggregation, because then you followed it up by like calling me like complaining about jokes and shit. It was like, dude, I just like spent like an hour like debunking like fucking lies about you, and like you're gonna like, this is what you take issue with, like that I made a joke about you like a month ago. At that point, I'd only done one stream about you where I was like talking about the Sniper Wolf shit, and it's like, really, like that's what you're focused on right now? Like, wow. I thought that was like a little bit like insane.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
What else was there that you wanted to call in for?
Oh, nothing. You were just telling me to call in that you had, but yeah, I was just gonna let you know it is not personal. I did some of the
He's acting like he's like directing the fucking like straight. Yeah. Why else are you like? It's not your stream, lol, bro. Why are you here? Why are you here, lol, bro? You just found out who Queen was like today.
criticisms were genuine, but it isn't personal. And yeah, I mean, if you do cringe stuff, I will like cover you, but just know it's not like personal or anything. And
I understand that, but like, you know, but some of it, this is, I mean, you're kind of doing it again where you're saying it's not personal, but then
There's
like,
more to the story. There's not. You can see the way he's responded to other people in the past. This is like, I'm not the first person he's like behaved like this with. He had some drama with like Bunk in the past. There's the wee shit, like any part of this story that we're missing, like I would tell you, like
same time it is though, right? Like you've said these things, I mean, no, like you've admitted that, like you've said things that are about me that are personal, right? So it's like, I feel like you kind of have to pick a side here.
They're
Like,
personal in the sense of like, I saw a public behavior he made and then used that as like a judgment of his character, but that's not related to, that's like the insight would be identical whether I have ever met him or not, because my fucking opinion was like solely based off of like his public performance on the lyrics stream.
is either you can't say that's not personal while also saying that like these criticisms I've made of your character that I will rehash if you do cringe things are not personal.
Sure, what I mean by it's not personal is I don't have any strong feelings about you.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. One sec. Somebody's telling me to say something. What? Quinn, you gotta demod this hellbent person.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I've already made this point. Okay, people are telling me bring up Nux Taku. Has that not been what you guys have been talking about for the last hour?
Yeah, we kind of got sidetracked, but yeah, we were talking about Israel Palestine and stuff. Yeah.
Oh wait, bring up Nux Taku. Wait, wasn't Nux Taku like literally? Wait, that's a great. Holy fuck, that's a great point. Wasn't Nux Taku like perpetuating like misinformation about people last night? And you platformed him.
Well, I had no idea about what he was going to say, and then
I had no idea what Raul was going to say.
I know, and I said that was fine. I said it was fine. I literally just said as he was calling in, I'm not expecting you to hang up the call. Did I not say that, Queen? Did I not say that?
He did say that.
Sure, he said that now. Okay, to be clear, he said that now, right? But at the time, as I've just said, right at the time, when he was crashing out about me to his chat, he took issue with the initial platforming.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I'm saying like,
Wait, so what changed? What changed?
What do you mean?
Because that was a point of criticism against me, like in previous streams. So what new information?
The point of criticism was not that you had him on. It's that like, I asked that you don't platform him in the future.
That's not what you said verbatim on stream. This guy platformed misinformation against me.
Joe, I think since
it's also a component of like, I've never been like that liked of like a person in like these spaces or whatever, and I've gotten fair criticisms in the past. I've also gotten criticisms that were just like, there are people, right, that would hate watch or find anything I said on Twitter to like post about. I even brought it up today on the Reddit on, you're not allowed to do those. It's not like you're not allowed to do those things, but I'll address the content of what you're saying if I don't think it's like true. But like the way he handles it, I feel like he gets like such a small amount of, he gets like me like kind of laughing at him for a few segments on streams, and then I also, I did like say his big ego, etc., some character judgments based on his public behavior. It's like such a small like amount of like, it's such like a relatively like small amount of like pushback and criticism.
So Gio would probably say now that that was probably wrong, but that you didn't know in the first place that he.
Yeah, my point. Well, obviously I was mad, right? Like in the moment, right? Like that makes sense. But I'm saying, obviously now I would prefer that you don't have him on to spread more lies. That was the point. But with Nux Taku, I mean, Queen, you watched it, right? Like, I mean, this was something where I'm listening to what he has to say about the ongoing conflict, and then as he's saying, I mean, I was listening to what you had to say in the chat, right? And you were saying things, and I was like, oh, that's interesting, and so I pushed back. And so I don't think that it's like if I'm not. I mean, it's literally like what you did with the morale thing, right? And so I think it's like there's no way you can criticize me for that.
Sure, I think the criticism, the perceived hypocrisy, was just coming from the fact that it seemed like you were saying it was bad to platform morale, and Aiden's now using this to say, well, you don't think that. But I think you've already conceded that you don't really think the issue was platforming in the first place.
He's conceding that now, but he's pretending like that was always his take.
He pushed back. That's all he could really do, and then you didn't want to platform in the future, right? That's what you're.
Yeah, but do you also think that there's a line between misinformation when it comes to like news
He thinks Queeman's gonna like come and do like a layup for him or whatever the fuck.
and stuff, and then false allegations?
It feels different, like in the sense of like because it's not directed at him. Well, the guy I was talking about is like some random guy or whatever the fuck. Like, no, logically there isn't really like that. Logically, there's not that substantive of like a difference. Whoa, did my PC? Oh no, we're good.
Like, for example, if someone doesn't think that Joe Biden won the 2020 election, and they go on their platform to say that, okay, do you think that person is doing the same thing as like when that guy next week accuses someone of being a rapist? Like, I think that they're very different. I mean, there's the same in like they're both lies, but like the weight and severity and like the purpose of the lie is very different.
Sure, but wasn't he accusing people of like being members of a terrorist organization? I think that's like.
Well, yeah, I was pushing back on that.
Yeah, but I get that, but you did have him on, and he did perpetuate that.
Yeah, it seemed like you brought this up to say that basically, I think pushing back was enough for me, but maybe it's not enough if you're making a specific false allegation about someone. And now, yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, so I don't think
that makes sense. That makes sense. I guess maybe I do it differently because that person is not like a content creator, and like it's part of a war, and so maybe I shouldn't do it differently. And like that's a good point. You know what? Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah, maybe it's not different, but at the same time, like I'm just looking at this and I'm thinking about what he's saying while I'm reading chat from Queenman that's saying, well, no, how is there proof that he's actually a sniper? And then there's all these things. Like there's a lot of moving parts in this that I'm factoring in when I'm responding to him, right? So.
Yeah, sure. I think that's fine. I think, but neither of you, to me, I mean, I don't know if you're willing to say this, Jim, but I think to me, neither of you did anything wrong in these situations. Like, having someone on and they say something political.
I don't think he did anything wrong, but I think it was like hypocritical for him to, which he did concede in this debate. It was hypocritical for him to have originally tried to just like act like I committed some moral wrongdoing by platforming Morale initially, and then because he said something that was like untrue or whatever, and then go and defend or go and do what he did with Knox.
Yeah, maybe you can't grapple with it in the moment, but you try and push back as much as you can. I think that's totally fine. Or in a situation,
he was planning to make a whole video.
I don't know if he had the DM from you yet, so he didn't have like full information, so he could try to push back in the way that he could. I think that's totally fine. I don't think it's a reasonable expectation to expect that person to not platform that person again. Well, I wouldn't say you shouldn't talk to Noxtaku again because he was spreading misinformation about Israel, just like I wouldn't say to Aiden don't talk to Morale again because he was spreading misinformation about the Geo.
Well, yeah, just to be clear, the criticism was, if you're changing now, it's fine. The criticism was that I platformed him in the first place.
Sure.
That was what you were saying.
I think, well, I was mad that you had done it.
Because of that discussion, that allegation essentially, like he wasn't making, like he was going to make a video on you. There were like other like small commentary shitters that were like perpetuating this, and they just like shut up about it. So I don't understand. Like, I don't know. I felt like it was really weird that you thought I did something like wrong. I thought it worked for your like.
What I was upset by was what he was saying, and that it was being streamed. Right, that was it. Not saying you did anything wrong by it, but it was still upsetting.
Sure.
I mean, come on. Right. You can't. I mean, come on. Like, you would be upset too if I had someone on, even if I'm debating them on my stream.
I mean, Aiden, you know you would be upset, right? Aiden, you had a whole crash out stream.
Yeah, but this is such a stupid point. The difference is, I was upset that the initial allegations had like just been made, right? I was upset the initial allegations had been made. I didn't take issue with like someone like Queeman going and covering them. Like his anger was like totally misdirected.
Stream about this.
No, I wouldn't. No, I would be upset, but I wouldn't be upset at the guy that would be like streaming it, refuting it. No, I would not be upset at that. I'd be upset at the fact it was happening. If you were to go live though, Queeman, and so like interviewing people and like,
maybe it wasn't your fault. Back, taking out on you, and I mean, misdirected anger is still like the anger itself is justified.
Yeah. Okay. No. Well, that's at least you admit that. Yeah. I guess kind of starting. I mean, at this point, you think it's personal. I'm telling you, I don't really have like any like strong feelings.
Gotcha.
But I'm not gonna just to let you know, like, if I was to stop covering you tomorrow, I'm not going to be the last guy that like does this. And like
that's fine, but that's fine, and I know that, and I'm fully aware of that, and that's okay. But with these people, there's a completely different dynamic.
What I'm trying to say to you here is,
like, I've dealt with that.
You got to change how you like react and respond, because someone else is going to come along and like milk it for content.
Yeah, this is basically what I just said. It's just reiterating it. I'll go and see what he says after I leave, and then I don't really. I'm a little bit fucking. I got tired earlier than expected, so I'll watch a little bit of what he had to say after I left, and then I'm probably gonna wrap it up.
Palestine stuff and the way that you view like the like I think the conversation about like the hyperbole with what Hassan was saying, that actually was really interesting. I think that actually gave me something to think about.
Well, good to hear. I'm excited to watch your conversation with Noxtaku. So
yeah, I'm not gonna hold you hostage anymore, but you're an interesting guy, and if there's at any point something that you actually, I don't know what you do here, but what do you normally stream?
Yeah, like politics stuff, politics drama, like politics streamers and shit like that.
I heard that after this was done, he like asked Queeman if he wanted to like hang out later. I don't know how true that is.
Mainly, sometimes VTuber
Gotcha.
stuff and like Asmongold and people like that. But
You don't like Asmongold, I assume?
no, I'm not a big Asmongold guy.
Who's your favorite YouTuber?
Who's my favorite YouTuber? I don't know. Chud Logic, my favorite YouTuber.
Who's your favorite politics person?
My favorite politics person. What, like actual politics or the politics on the internet?
Either.
I can't. I don't hate. I don't hate this guy. I don't hate him. I just. He's like. I don't hate Ichido. Okay, I don't really hate a lot of people. Like for me to hate you, you have to like. Start like posting CP or something. Like I don't hate this guy. It's just like he's so fucking cringe. He's so cringe.
Actual politics, Tony Blair. Politics on the internet. I don't know. I hate them all now.
Gotcha. All right.
Who's
Well,
my favorite YouTube? I don't have a favorite YouTuber. I don't have a favorite YouTuber. I mostly don't watch YouTube. Like I don't watch individual creators. I watch like free documentaries that get uploaded to the internet or like free TV shows like Kitchen Nightmares and stuff. But for the most part, there's no like YouTubers I really watch.
well, I mean, maybe I'll watch some of your videos. I mean, you actually, No Glaze, seem like you're pretty good at like argumentation and stuff, and so it's actually really interesting. Very Tips Fedora, sophisticated young gentleman I've run into here. So
That's what we go for.
Yeah,
All
have a
right.
good stream.
Oh, thanks, coming.
Have a good stream.
Catch you
Take
later.
care.
See you. Wow, awesome stuff, guys.
So you didn't ask him if he wanted to hang out later? H Bomber guy's plagiarism video is pretty good. But everyone kind of knows that. Ichido Queeman skinwalking when? True! Ichido's gonna adopt a Wiggler. He's like a fucking chameleon, bro. He's like a chameleon. It's hard. He's just very fucking cringe, dude. He's just very fucking cringe. But no, I don't hate him. I don't hate him. Ichido's a picture of Queeman and a heart-shaped locket under his shirt. I wonder what like led to him taking on the Asmon skinwalking and like not doing the Tom skinwalking. Did him and Tom like stop talking or something? I bet you him and Tom are probably talking like less behind the scenes. He found a new target. True. He's gonna like be putting on a fucking British accent next week. Gonna be like dead air react. Well, he already dead air reacts. Ichido just becomes American Purple Parry Gaming. Basically. Dude, I don't know what this Parry guy's plan is. Seems very unstable. Pretty much Aaron, but a liberal. Dude, Parry like does this full time. He's like not going anywhere in life, and like I support him. You know, I was a big Parry supporter, but like this guy's like not making any attempts to like appeal to like a larger audience. He's not making any fucking attempts to appeal to a larger audience. Like, what is this guy doing, man? What is this guy doing? You say you don't hate him, but I feel like you're getting close. I don't hate him. I don't hate him. I don't know how. If I hated him, why wouldn't I just be honest about it? If I hated him, why wouldn't I just say, yeah, I hate this fucking guy in like an unironic way? Yeah, it takes a lot for me to hate you. Because you're So, dude, this Ali Khan guy is skinwalking Isu, who's skinwalking Shelby 502. We need to start, like, whenever a chatter... I've said this before. We need to start, like, making, like, folders for when chatters, like, say things that are, like, similar to each other, so we can, like, accuse them of, like, skinwalking. Hate is a strong word. I mean, I probably use it, but when I just assume if I'm using the word hate, if I'm not being serious about it, I don't actually, like, hate somebody. Like, and to tell I'm not being serious, like, to tell I'm not being, like, if I hate somebody, I will clarify, like, in very seriously, like, I'm being totally serious about this. Like, I despise this person. I fucking hate them. And, like, I don't think I could suffer a Parry stream only because of how he talks. He has a beautiful accent. He's a beautiful fucking accent. My schizophrenia is a Perry's bored of streaming, but it's too successful for him to allow himself to quit. True, true. Very true. I need to start fucking doing something, or I'm gonna get bored of this shit soon, man. I think it's just because, like with school and everything, I'm probably just like getting a little bit burnt out and not really having like the passion I had. And like I was on break when I first came back. This is when I was going like every day until like fucking 5 in the morning. You can't even cover this single. I just have a lot. I'm literally a pause Andy. I just have a lot to say. I don't know. I've considered, we all know I wouldn't do it, right? But I've considered potentially also making a video channel. A camera video channel. Camera commentary. It's like first name, it's the same format. Like your camera, and then it's like first name, last name. Curtis no, I hate that guy. I don't actually hate him, just to clarify. Curtis Connor, or like they all have like the same format. They're all skinwalking each other. The only one of like I'll say this actually. I'll say this. A YouTuber I'd say I actually like, and you guys he doesn't like make racist jokes every 2 seconds, or at all, so you're probably not gonna like him. But Drew Gooden, I like Drew Gooden a lot. I think Drew Gooden makes good videos. Drew Gooden is like someone who manages to be funny without like lowbrow, like fucking I like Drew Gooden. I think he's a good he makes good videos. The other guys I just don't really find all that funny. I fuck with dude, we miss Purple Pepsi. We need Purple Pepsi back. Drew Gooden is the same. No, Drew Gooden is like Curtis Connor, but funny and like not super preachy. And virtue signaling. Drew Gooden is just like funny. He doesn't need to like virtue signal or like or preach or like just appeal to like the preconceived interests of his fan base. He just seems like someone that's like kind of doing what he wants. And he makes he manages to be funny like without he manages to be funny without like relying on like he's just funny, I guess. I find him funny personally. I don't know. I'm pretty like picky with humor. Eddie Burback, I haven't watched his shit. He used to follow me on Twitter. He unfollowed me, so I don't like him. Yes, I like Drew's movie videos. So I've watched a few of his videos. I liked his Hallmark videos. I liked his like Little Italy video. I like his movie stuff more. I liked his what is it? I liked his Lily Singh video was okay when he was like reviewing her late night talk show. And a similar video I actually really like. I haven't watched this in a long time, so I don't know how funny it is in hindsight. But if you have not watched it, watch Ralph the Movie Maker, his Mystery Diners video. I used to love that fucking video. I thought it was so funny. Back when I don't know if it's still funny, because it's been so long. But the Mystery Diners video was like, I really fucking liked that. It was very funny. I don't know, I like stupid humor like that, like when he edits it, so like when they're like analyzing how many cameras are like in the dining room, it's like 5 cameras in the kitchen, 2 cameras in the pantry, 8 dude, wait, where is it, bro? Like shit like that. Maybe that's why one of my favorite comedy movies is the OG Naked Gun, but hold on. Dude, he like, cause like the show had like the same format for like every single, it was just such a stupid show, but like he edited it, cause like in the show, they like to seem like how professional they are, like we're spying on them, whatever the fuck, and they would like announce how many cameras they were installing, so he like edited it like back to back. This might not be like that funny in hindsight. I want to see it in the transcript.
Up in the bar. 2 of the rest. 3 cameras have been set up in the main dining room to give an overall perspective of the restaurant and its customers. 4 cameras have been set up in the bar. 2 cameras have been set up in the kitchen. 1 camera has been set up in the hallway.
There's just like so many fucking cameras.
2 cameras have been set up in the back dining room. 2 cameras have been set up in the kitchen. 1 camera has been set up by the piano. 3 cameras have been set up in the main dining room. Cameras 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 2 cameras have been set up in the bar. 2 cameras have been set up in the kitchen. 2 cameras have been set up.
I don't know why that shit was. I used to just like joke about it with my friends and shit. I don't know. That shit used to be very funny to me. Maybe it's nostalgia. I love Peak Ralph the Movie Maker. Well, we are cousins, so I'm a little bit biased. This is my cousin, by the way. Is Mystery Diner scripted? Yeah, obviously, but they try to pretend like it's not. It's obviously scripted. Does he not upload anymore? Well, he was an actual movie maker. He was like he was an amateur filmmaker. So he still uploads, but I think that was like his main thing that he did. Watch the Nuxanor Cheeto interview more. I'm probably gonna end soon. But yeah, I mean, I don't really have like a favorite YouTuber. I'll watch. Dude, did he get fat? Oh, he doesn't. Dude, what happened to this guy? This guy's really fallen off. I guess it was 2016 was what? Fucking almost 10 years ago. 2016 was almost 10 years ago. So I guess people do change. And it's weird to see like people that like you think it was like something like kind of recent. It's weird to like see them like age. Like
hi everyone, this is
like what Kitchen Nightmares. Like if you watch the OG episodes, it really doesn't feel that long ago. And then you go and you see like the new episodes of Gordon. You could be like, he's like very clearly aged. I know. It's just like weird. I know aging exists. It's just like weird because these things don't feel so long ago. So it's just like weird to see visible aging in like reference to like between 2 points in time that really don't feel like that far apart. And then you like realize, oh wait, they are really that far apart. Yeah, I know it's 9 years ago. It doesn't feel like it was 9 years ago. Everyone has aged except me. So crazy. It's gonna happen to you sooner or later. Nope. Never happening. It's not happening. I'm not aging. Thanks. Now I feel existential. Sorry, I guess? Welcome to getting old. I'm 20. I'm 20, guys. Remember that cope? Because, like, Leafy used to always, like, go back on this cope. Like, I'm, like, 20 years old. I'm 20. And then, like, when Idubbbz was, like, going after him, he's like, yeah, Leafy, we're, like, cool young bucks in our 20s. We could criticize. Like, Leafy kept using that cope. I'm in my 20s, man. I'm in my 20s. 20 is the wall now? Dude, I'm not that much younger than my parents were when I was born. So that's, like, a crazy thought. It will happen before you know it. Dude, I'm gonna be like Simon Cowell. Where is it?
Number 1, Simon Cowell.
Okay.
Simon Cowell's journey with Weather. Cowell later.
I just want to see. I don't care about your little AI description.
Please audition now.
Dude, have you look at this? This guy looks like a Dude, he looks like a melted candle.
Next year's season.
Like he's like, it's crazy. Like people are so scared of aging. They're like willing to fucking like. I mean, this is like horrific.
I'm looking forward to meeting.
Some fans were quick to say that Simon looked unrecognizable.
It's like crazy. and like this is the
What?
whatever his name is. This is the Top Gear. I don't watch Top Gear, but like he looks far better as like someone who's visibly aged than Simon Cowell does now. Like this is a fine way to look when you're his age. He looks fine. Now compare the two today, right? It's like there's nothing wrong with looking like you've aged. It does like you see these women walking around LA, and there's some men too, like Simon Cowell, right? I think plastic surgery, if I could be wrong in this, is more common amongst women because marketing and like the social constructs of like women in Western society are like much more vanity based. So women tend to have more like bodily insecurities, right? But like they walk around like with like these looking like fish, looking like fucking fish. You look fine aging, like it's not a big deal. He aged like, yeah, this is like insane. This is crazy. I don't know why you would ever want to look like that. I mean, he probably didn't think this should be the end result, but like when no wrinkles at his age ends up looking like this. This is Chud's future. True. Deep in the finasteride rabbit hole. Very true. Dude, I saw some old man walking around the other day with like a full head of hair, like a fucking and it was like dyed like bright orange. Very old looking face, but he had his hair like dyed bright orange. It was a full head of hair, like as if you were a teenager, and it looked like very strange. There was just something about it, like looked like super fucking like you'd look fine with like gray hair, like this like bright orange. It was really weird looking. Aiden is on the protein-rich plasma, and I eat like total shit. I eat like it's gonna catch up to me. I eat like horribly. I literally ate like fried chicken tonight. I eat like absolute like garbage. Problem? True. So fucking true. True. Why would I want to eat healthy, dude? Eating healthy like sounds like miserable. Like I would totally be fine like living to 45 and dying of a heart attack if I got to like eat what I wanted, smoke what I wanted. It's a much more fulfilling life than being healthy. I want fried chicken now. True, I'm promoting very good habits amongst my viewership. It's like people who it's good to save money, totally, especially when you're young, right? So you can enjoy retirement. But I know old people that are still like that I know for a fact have money that are still like pretty like frugal. They don't, spend a lot on luxuries, which I can respect to some extent. My grandfather was like this. He did really well for himself. He grew up super fucking poor. He did really well for himself, but even though he had a lot of money, he didn't really spend like anything on himself. He spent a lot on his kids and his wife, but he didn't really spend anything on himself. And I always wondered, what is this? Why does this guy go fucking enjoy his money? Like he, he's, what are you saving for? Like, why make all this money and not spend it? Because it's so true. No, he was very fucking he was very generous with other people, but he wasn't generous with himself with how he spent his money. Good one, buddy. Yeah, but I have a fuck ton of money by the time I retire, within reason. I want to enjoy myself, travel the fucking world. That's very sweet. Yeah. I mean, I'm like him in the sense of like, people think it's stupid to spend a lot of money here, but if I have like money to spare, I always like to spend that shit on like food and drinks. By fucking far, dude. There's nothing better than going out to like a nice restaurant or some shit if you have like money to spare. I'd rather do that than buy like new clothes or whatever the fuck. It's my favorite. And people are like, oh, you only get to enjoy it once. Why spend a lot of money on it? I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I like it. Problem? Issue? yeah. Anyways, I'm probably going to wrap it up about here. Thank you guys for the support. I'm gonna try to go live this week. Again, it's a super fucking busy week for me, so you may not hear from me until for a few days. I'll be active in the Discord and shit. But I will try. I'll genuinely try to go live. But I'm dreading it. It's gonna be a very fucking busy week. So I'll be live probably next weekend, maybe. But I'll try to go live earlier than that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for the support. And yeah, until next time, peace.